been shut.
You opened your door.
I did not open the door, Your Honor.
It's not what your husband said. Sit. Sit. You either didn't tell the truth or you made it up.
This is Judge Judy.
Gerald Olson is suing his neighbor, Arnie Mayo, for vet bills, grooming costs, and damages from a dog attack.
Order. All rise. This case number 112 on the calendar, the matter of Olson versus Mayo.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Olson, you have 2 dogs, and you were walking your dogs, I assume, on a leash.
Yes, ma'am.
You passed the defendant's house during the course of that walk, so I assume
Yes,
you
ma'am.
live in relatively close proximity to each other. And it is your claim that when you were walking your 2 dogs on a leash, Mr. Mayo's wife opened the door, let their dog out, and you say that Mr. Mayo's dog attacked yours. Mr. Mayo says that your dogs, despite the fact that they were on leash, were on his property, and his dog was in fact injured as well as one of your dogs. I think all 3 dogs were injured because you had mace with you and you sprayed. They all went to the vet, so you're suing and countersuing each other for the vet bills. Were you at home, Mr. Mayo, when this happened?
I was upstairs, Your Honor.
Just a second. So
My
the
wife
answer is,
was,
shh.
I was at home.
The answer is yes. Did you witness the event?
No, Your Honor, but my wife witnessed the whole thing.
I want you just to answer me. The answer is no, I didn't.
No.
You witnessed the event.
Yes, I did.
Well, then you can change places with him.
Change please.
Perfect. This incident occurred on the 13th of June of last year.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Could you tell me why you waited a year to sue them?
Well, ma'am, in my jurisdiction of the County of San Diego, the San Diego Animal Control was losing the contract with Animal Control, so the interactions and reports went to the Humane Society of San Diego, and it took me 4.5 months to get the report from the Humane Society because the Animal Control people kicked it off to them.
The animal control people were not witnesses to the event.
No, but I reported it to them, Your Honor.
Well, what'd you need the report for to file the lawsuit?
I needed the report to substantiate my dog's injuries and what really happened in this event, Your Honor.
Well, may I see that report?
Yes, ma'am. Animal
No,
control.
no, no. I don't want your written statement.
There you go.
Okay, so you each called. You called on the 13th, he called on the 15th.
Right.
Okay.
May I show you where this happened, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yeah, if I may, thank you. This is Tanaha Lane, the street that we both live on. This is the defendant's house. That's my residence right there. I was walking my dogs up the street. When I got about right here, I saw the garage door open on their residence. 2 ladies walked out into the front yard, which is this grassy area here. And then when I kept walking with my dogs, I was walking in the middle of the street, Your Honor. I got around right parallel to both ladies.
Why were you walking in the middle of the street? Middle of the street is where the cars travel?
Not at that time of the day.
Why were you walking in the middle of the street?
Because when I walk down their side, they have a sidewalk in front of their house. There's no sidewalk on my side of the street.
Your Honor, he got a statement.
I don't want you to do that again.
Your Honor, I didn't want to walk past his side on the sidewalk again because his dog's always barking and growling and scratching at the gate when I walk by with my 2 dogs.
Okay, what kind of gate is there?
It's just a wooden gate that's just to the right of his front door of his residence. Anyway, when the 2 ladies were here, I was about even with them, and then out of the corner of my eye, I saw their dog beelined it right for my dogs. So when I saw him out of the corner of my eye, I turned around and I squared up, and I got another wrap on both leashes. And I pulled my dogs back. The dog lunged right into my pit bull, and they were both on hind legs fighting for several seconds. And then after they got down on all fours, the plaintiff's dog is a Dalmatian. It had my dog by the muzzle and the mouth. I couldn't get them apart. I couldn't pull them apart, Your Honor.
Got it.
I tried to kick the dog 2 times. The dog wouldn't let go. I looked over at the lady, this lady here, Josephine. I looked over her and the other lady, and I told them, come get your dog. Come help me get your dog. They just looked at me. They had they said nothing. They did nothing.
Okay.
Then I maced the dog in the face with my canister of mace.
Okay. You opened your door. You were
No.
going to work?
No, not me. I did not open the door,
Who
Your Honor.
opened the door?
My mom came for a visit that morning,
And?
and she opened the door. And the dog...
No, that's not what your husband said at all.
Yes.
It's not what your husband
No.
said. It said, my wife, Josephine, was going to work, and she opened the door. That's what your husband
No,
said. So I'm just telling you what he wrote. And he corrected it because it says was doing housework. And then he corrected it just now and said, my wife, Josephine, was going to work and she opened the front on our property. Well, that's what he wrote. So why don't you not let him take care of business if he doesn't know what he's talking about?
No, that's not what happened, Your Honor. This is what happened. I was getting ready to work at 8 o'clock. My mom came. She always visits in the morning to do yard work in the front. So she opened the door. The Dalmatian...
Front door?
The front door. She opened the front door. And the Dalmatian always have a habit of greeting my mom, putting two hands here on her shoulder. My mom...
Where were you when your mom opened the door?
I was right there.
In the garage.
Just a second.
In the
Hey,
garage.
Sit. Sit. You don't know what you're talking about. You wrote this thing, and according to your wife, you either didn't tell the truth or you made it up.
I was in the garage, Your Honor.
Understand this. You were in the garage.
Yes.
Was the garage door... Listen to me.
Open.
The garage door was open.
Yes.
And you were in the garage getting into your car?
No.
What were you doing in the garage?
I was trying to warm up my car, and I stood...
Just a second. In June...
In June...
In June, you were warming up your car?
Yes, June 30,
What kind
Your
of a
Honor.
car? What kind of a car do you have?
I have a Honda SUV.
You have a Honda? How old is your Honda?
A year old.
Let me understand what you want me to believe, Miss Mayo, okay? Which I don't. So let's understand. True, and what you're telling me is not true.
No, and that,
But no, what you just told me is not true. That in the month of June, you got into a car in June and started it to warm it up.
Yes.
And then got out of the car and was standing in the garage.
Your Honor, I was not inside the car. I opened the door, I click, that's it. And then I went in the front yard.
Now, listen to me. You can't start a car that way. You have to have your foot on the brake.
I did not start, Your Honor. All I did was turn on the engine.
I don't believe you because it sounds stupid.
She's getting ready to work, ma'am. That's why she warmed up the car. She started the car to go to work.
Speak again. I don't believe you. I want you to start with that premise. The story that you just told me about clicking your car and opening the door.
I did not open the door, Your Honor. My mom opened the door.
No, to the garage. You opened.
I opened the garage door.
And the car door.
And the car door, and then I clicked the engine, and I left. I left it like that.
Just a second. You clicked the engine,
Yes.
which doesn't start the car, because you can't start the car without your foot on the brake. So you clicked it, so you're draining the battery. All you're doing, if you turn it on like that, all you're doing is draining the battery. Am I right about that, Bert?
Some cars do.
Yeah, most.
Most.
You can go like this and start up the engine. You can go like this and click it if you're not in the car with your foot on the brake,
Yes.
and you can get the battery going.
Oh, can I
You
say
can get
something
the...
else?
No! You can get the battery going,
Yes.
but you don't start the... So I don't believe that whole bull story that you're giving me. Now, your dog got out. I don't care if it was kissing your mother all over her face. I don't care if it was loving her up with its paws on her shoulders. It got out of your control. The dog got out of your control without the leash because his dogs clearly didn't come into your house. His dogs didn't come into
His
your...
dog was in our property, Your Honor. He was walking the dog. His dog. His two dogs.
He was
one
walking
pit bull
his...
and one chow on the left hand. On the right hand, he has a baseball bat. His dog got out of control. This dog was walking him. He's not walking the dog. The dog was walking him. Got out of control, attacked the Dalmatian that was there beside my mom, who was doing the yard work. And then I saw the pit bull.
Just a second. First you told me that the Dalmatian, your mother opened the front
Yes.
door. Your mother opened the front door and the Dalmatian put its paws on her
Greeted
shoulders,
my
was
mom.
kissing her. Somehow between then and the time this happened, your mother started doing the yard work.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
And that's what
Can
she
I see
does.
your vet bill, please?
Your Honor, that's what she... We have some... Your Honor, we have some...
No, I just want to see your vet bill.
Your Honor,
Were you
we
there?
have...
Just a second. Were you there? My question.
Well,
No! Were you...
I'm trying to answer.
Just say yes or no. I was there or I was not there.
I was there to witness another incident that happened
Yes,
with
Your
him.
Honor, right here.
And we actually have
Just a
video
second.
evidence.
I didn't ask you about any other incident. I asked you about this. Listen, you have to understand. I think that anybody that owns a pit bull is crazy. I think that anybody that owns
Your Honor,
a pit
my
bull...
dog is not My dog is a beagle pit bull, Your Honor.
Right. Good.
It's not a pure pit bull.
Good.
I see a Dalmatian attack a pit bull.
Ask. Listen.
I don't believe, Your Honor, a Dalmatian attack a pit bull.
Outside. Out. 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 I think that anybody that owns a pit bull is crazy. But that's your prerogative. I just want to ask you this, sir. In addition to the mace, did you also have a baseball bat?
No, ma'am. I bought the
just
bat
the mace.
later.
Shh. What?
I bought the bat the day after the incident because I was advised not to use mace anymore.
So now you walk your dogs with a baseball bat.
Your Honor, I walk my dogs one at a time, leash in my left hand, with the dog on my left, and a baseball bat in my right.
That sounds loving and warm, just like a pet should be.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you have evidence? See the video. Just give it to Officer Berg.
So I bought this surveillance camera after this happened, Your Honor.
I don't want you to speak again. You'll wind up with him.
All right.
And later today,
The counsel claim is that she posted your arrest record on the internet.
Well, she posted what I was arrested for and what I was in jail for.
So my question is, was it true?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gerald Olson says neighbor Arnie Mayo owes for a dog attack. Arnie is countersuing for vet bills.
Listen, your dog was out of your control. You have to pay his vet bill.
Your Honor, we also have evidence on video.
Yes,
Of
Your
him
Honor,
walking
we have
on our
evidence
property.
Right here, that his dog walks on our
Multiple
property
times.
all the time.
I don't want you to speak.
All right.
You have evidence
Yes.
that his dog walks on your property?
Yes, right-
I'd
right
love
here.
to, just a second, not that. I'd love
Right.
to see the video. Just give it to Officer Berg.
So I bought this surveillance camera after this happened, Your Honor. Just letting you know.
I don't want you to speak again. You'll wind up with him.
All right.
He's in the street.
Yeah. He's in the street. No,
Right there, Your Honor.
Oh, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's a dog going on a lawn for a second. That'd be ridiculous. Is that what you want me to see? What was your vet bill, sir?
$212.45, Your Honor, and also is seeking pain and suffering for Lily, my pit bull.
$212.45. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It's an unfortunate incident that happened,
His dog was the one that attacks our dog.
and their dog got off leash.
It's a pit bull. It's a vicious dog.
Whenever your dog gets off leash, bad things can happen.
No, I want his dog to put to sleep.
Keep your dog on a leash, and it'll all come out to the happy ending, and everyone's happy.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Stevens versus Russell. Step forward.
Diane Stevens is suing her cousin, Donald Russell III, for a loan for bail. Donald is countersuing for defamation of character and slander.
Mr. Russell, you know what this case was about. It's about your cousin who says that you owe her for bail in an incident that evidently happened in March of last year. It's hard to say what you were arrested for.
Yeah, it was false allegations.
What happened with the case?
It was dismissed.
In what month?
It was dismissed in the month of August.
And you were bailed out sometime in March,
Correct.
and you had already been in jail for several weeks at
Correct.
the time you were bailed out. How much was your bail?
I believe it was $50,000 cash assured.
And was this your first time in jail?
No.
How do you think Miss Stevens is going to tell me she found out that you were in jail?
She actually found out through my wife.
Is that how you found out he was in jail?
No.
How did you find out that he was in jail?
He called me collect, and his girlfriend, Lillian, when I called her and asked her about it, because that's not his wife, it's his girlfriend, Lillian.
Why don't you just answer my question?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did she post this before or after she asked you to please pay her back her money?
She posted it before.
Before she asked you back for your money?
Correct.
Oh, I don't believe that at all. Why in the world would this woman post your bail, but before she posts your bail, post your arrest record?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Diane Stevens is suing her cousin, Donald Russell III for a loan for bail, issue of character, and slander.
How did you find out that he was in jail?
He called me collect.
On what date?
It was May.
It was May.
Yes.
So you were arrested in March?
Correct.
And you were still in jail in May?
No.
When did you get out of jail?
I was released from jail March 25th. This is the actual bond here. Oh, I'm sorry. May 25th.
So you were in jail March, April, and a good part of May.
Yes.
Do you remember calling Miss Stevens from jail?
Yes.
Do you remember the conversation that you had with Miss Stevens when you called her from jail?
No, I do not.
Do you?
Yes.
So you can tell me what the conversation was.
The conversation was that he kept getting sick in jail, and he done had...
Did he tell you what kind of sick?
That he have seizures, and that he done had a couple seizures. They won't give him his medicine.
You have seizures, Mr. Russell?
Yes, I do.
Now, she wouldn't know that unless you told her that you had been sick in jail. Continue.
And he says, "Cuz I really need to get out." He said, "I've been talking to Lily and Donna. Donna's his sister, Lily's his girlfriend. And I told them to sell everything." He said, "I need you to help me get out of here." He said, "As soon as I get out, cuz in a month." Well,
did you know what kind of work Mr. Russell did?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work did he do before he was arrested?
He do lawn care.
For himself or for somebody
else? For a
else?
company.
How much did you put down on his bail?
$3,000.
How much did he pay you back?
$195.
Okay. You have a counterclaim. Your counterclaim is that she posted your arrest record on the internet.
Correct.
Is it a lie?
Yes.
That your arrest record was a lie?
Correct.
Tell me.
Well, according to law, you are innocent until proven guilty.
No. She didn't say she posted that you were convicted. You said she posted your arrest record.
Well, she posted what I was arrested for and what I was in jail for.
So my question is, was it true?
No, what I was arrested for, the allegations was not true.
I didn't ask you whether the allegations were true. Is it true? You didn't so far tell. Can I see that, please? I know it was very hard for you to tell, but that's your counterclaim. If you file a counterclaim that she slandered you, and his. Is this document what you're talking about?
Correct.
She's allowed to publish that.
She also posted, I scratched it out because I didn't want it on TV, but the abbreviation for the charge.
What abbreviation for the charge? Then I can't resolve this issue.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Right now, what she posted was a document, right? There is nothing that prevents her from doing that. Did she post this before or after she asked you to please pay her back her money?
She posted it before.
Before she asked you back for your money?
Correct.
Oh, I don't believe that at all. Why in the world would this woman post your bail, but before she posts your bail, post your arrest record?
No.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $28.05. We're finished. Thank you very much. Your counterclaim's dismissed.
She didn't
Goodbye.
Oh, my life.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
A mom dumps her kids at a daycare.
You left your children with Miss Hunsicker for how long?
About 6 months. She held them from me, Your Honor.
Judge Judy.
The plaintiff didn't even pay $3,000 to get me out.
He's just a complete liar.
She only paid $2,500, and I got the evidence to prove it. Till the sheriffs called me for release.
Who else in the family got money? Really?
They just told me, Mr. Russell, pack your things, you're out of here.
And then he called me every day, almost collect.
Pretty much it's a headache,
crying and begging to get out of jail.
Stalking and harassing me.
I didn't harass him.
At least that part will be done, and
I should have left his butt in jail.
And just leave me be.
He should have stayed in jail.
You're out until 2 o'clock in the morning, and you've been bar hopping.
Short tempers after a long night out.
You say we got into a heated argument while heading home.
He hits my shoulder. I say, please don't touch me. I don't want to be touched. Please do not touch me. Get your hands off me.
It's all very nasty.
I go like this to move, to block. My hand connects with like this part of his face.
He says that you punched him in the face.
This is Judge Judy. Dean Catlett is suing his ex-girlfriend, 25-year-old Brescia Wigglesworth, for a false arrest, attorney fees, and damages to his vehicle.
Order. All rise. It's case number 110 on the calendar, the matter of Catlett versus Wigglesworth.
Thank you. I know I won't have all of the facts perfectly, but I'm going to try to set the stage of this story so that we can put it in context of what you both want. So I suggest you pay attention to what I'm saying, not look at anything else. You were a couple for a while. You went out for an evening, and and that was on July 29th of 2018. You were driving, and you drove with him. There was nobody else in the car, either going or coming. Is that correct?
That's incorrect.
Who else was in the car?
Her name is Yolanda.
So you went with somebody else who was in the back passenger seat?
Yes, Brescia was next to me.
So it didn't happen on, did it happen on the 28th or the 29th?
The event prior was the 28th. My arrest was the 29th.
Got it.
Excuse me.
What?
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I also want to just make this clear. We were not a couple at the time of the incident.
Just friends?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fine. Not easy to do.
No.
You went out for an evening, and the evening was either, I don't care, the 28th or the 29th. And according to both of you, the arrangement was that you would leave this bar that you went to with friends by 1 a.m. because you had an early morning appointment.
That's right. That's true. I had an interview.
So far correct?
Yes.
And then the friend that had come with you didn't want to, and that took a little time, so you didn't leave until when you finally found her. She said, I found something interesting here. I think I'm going to stay for a while.
Yes.
Not exactly true. I'm sorry.
No?
Not exactly true. That isn't the exact reason why we left so late.
Why did you leave late?
We left so late because he was still drinking with the other friends that we went out with. And I had asked him to leave earlier about 3 times. And even though he said we would leave, we continued to go around bar hopping. And that is, yes, on my part, partly my fault.
Yes.
Because I didn't demand him to leave. At the same time, I came in with him. I didn't have another ride. No. I should have called like an Uber or a Lyft to take him back home.
But you stayed.
Yes.
And continued to socialize.
Not really.
No. Okay. Anyway, you got into the car to go home and you had an argument. And the argument was about the fact that you stayed late? Yes. Is that what the argument was about?
I was disappointed, yes.
You were complaining that you stayed late. He was driving.
Yeah.
Now, so I want you to tell me exactly, you're telling him you're annoyed. He says to you, what happened next?
He starts saying, well, it's not my fault that we didn't leave. I understand. I was trying to get her. I should have just left.
Okay.
I tell him, yeah, but you didn't just leave. So he starts saying...
So he starts
saying, you're calling me worthless. You're calling me a worthless man.
From, we should have left earlier, to him saying to you, you're calling me a worthless man.
Yeah.
What did you say to him?
I told him, I'm not calling you a worthless man, but I'm saying that I'm disappointed that we didn't leave earlier. You had made a promise to leave.
Just a second. We don't go from, you made a promise to leave, then you're calling me a worthless man.
Because I never said that.
What did you say?
I told him I'm disappointed that you didn't leave when you said that we were going to leave.
And he said, you're calling me a worthless man. Okay. I know you want me to believe that. It's a leap that I'm not here prepared to make. Okay, you're calling me a worthless man, and then what happened?
So he's gesturing with his hands. He talks a lot with his hands.
He can't do this with both hands because...
Well, we hadn't started driving yet. We're still parked. We hadn't started driving yet.
Oh, so you had this argument when you were in the car?
Absolutely.
But you hadn't been driving yet?
We didn't start the car yet.
Okay. You say we got into a heated argument while heading home. That's what you say in your answer that you swore to. So now you're telling me that you weren't heading home, you were just in the parking lot. You hadn't started yet? Okay. So now he's gesticulating with his hands and?
And while he's doing this, he's touching me. He's like touching my shoulder, touching my arm.
So just a second. Just a second. So he is gesticulating with his hand and he touched your arm.
Going. I move over. He still keeps going. He's doing this. He hits my shoulder. I go like this to move, to block. My hand connects with his, like, eyebrow, like this part of his face. Then he goes, I can't believe you hit me. He gets up, he gets out of the car, slams the door. Before he slams the door, he says, I gotta walk. Then he gets out of the car.
I mean, I have your answer here. The story that you're telling me doesn't bear any relation to the sworn statement that you read.
I understand, but I'm not the one who wrote that.
Well,
I'm telling you the truth right now.
Listen to me. Before you came in here, you were a very intelligent young woman.
I still am.
Before you came in here, you read this over and you signed it. Mm-hmm. And if there were any changes that you wanted to make in here, you could have.
I did.
Not here. I didn't see any changes.
I said that they should have been made, but that I was assured that that was just paraphrasing, and that I would have to prove my point of here.
Then we're going to go out, and you're going to write up an answer. Read it very carefully. You're not to be shown this answer that you wrote and swore to, and write up an answer that I can examine you on.
Okay.
Because what his claim is that you had him falsely arrested, and he says that you punched him in the face.
Not true.
Well, whatever you say, that's what he says. And there is an indication here that that did, in fact, happen. So you're going to go outside and find the producer who you say told you this is just pat.
Parties are excused. This will be recalled.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He's holding your cell phone in his left hand, and with his right hand, as he's driving and swerving, he's choking you. And I'm trying to figure out how he's steering.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
In a case recall from earlier today, Dean Catlett says ex-girlfriend Briche Wigglesworth had him falsely arrested for assaulting her during a night at the Jersey Shore. Briche is countersuing for medical bills and assault.
Oh, it's so good to be able to get a whole story. So now, Miss Wigglesworth, I have 7 pages of story. And when we get down to it, when I sort of put it all together, 2 people in the car, both of whom probably maybe were feeling good that night, feeling bad, but feeling good, got into a fight. You probably got the worst of the deal. But it's clear from here that despite the fact that he put his hand on you, you physically assaulted him by slapping him in the face, because you say in your document that you gave me that he's driving and swerving because you're arguing with him, and he's holding your cell phone in his left hand. That's what you said.
Yes.
And with his right hand, as he's driving and swerving, he's choking you. That's what you said right here. And I'm trying to figure out how he's steering. So it's all very nasty. And then you say, stop the car, you got out, you still had your phone, you wanted your phone, he touched you, you punched him.
So I do want to clear up.
Just a second. Mm-hmm. That's what you say in here. And he, of course, has pictures, like you have pictures, of injuries. I'm sure he does, right?
Absolutely, I do
right.
have my
And you
pictures.
have pictures of your injuries to your knee, right?
No, I don't have pictures of injuries, but I do have text messages where he admits that he has.
Listen to me carefully. I'm not finished yet.
Oh, okay.
You both behaved badly on the night of the 28th or the 29th, whichever one it was. Now, he was arrested, and then he filed a lawsuit against you after he was arrested.
Yes.
And then you both had lawyers and went to court.
I did not get a lawyer.
She did not.
You did not. You had, according to you, legal advice.
Yes.
So am I correct from reading this? Because my interpretation of that evening was you both acted badly.
I mean, that's just...
Oh, you acted badly.
I acted in self-defense.
I know that you acted badly.
I acted in self-defense. So
I know that you acted badly. I know that in response to somebody touching your shoulder, you don't punch him in the face.
I didn't punch him in the face.
Can I see the pictures?
That's not what happened.
Sure.
So what I'm saying to you is he has to acknowledge to me that, first of all, you're out until 2 o'clock in the morning and you've been bar hopping. Mm-hmm. And the smart thing to do is call an Uber.
If you have been excessively drinking,
no,
yes.
If you...
I have been...
When you've been drinking, you never know that it's excessively.
Absolutely.
Drinking impairs otherwise reasoned judgment. You might not do something after you've had 1 drink that you would do after you've had 2. And you're a big guy, you could handle 2 drinks.
I understand.
But not a smart thing to do. you know, if you promise your friend that you'll take her home at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
Your friend who does not drink. Your friend also who was not drinking that night. Your friend also who only had 2 shots that night.
Do you see how aggressive? Do you see how aggressive you are?
I do.
Do you see that I see how aggressive you are?
I do, but I did want to get that out.
I know that you wanted to get it out, but do you see how aggressive you present to a fact finder? So I have children know about what happened here that night. You both behaved badly. You were angry.
No, ma'am.
I don't think you do.
No, ma'am.
Oh, you don't think you behaved badly?
I think I behaved. No, I know that I behaved in self-defense. And I also have text messages, which are evidence, where he admitted to being drunk and on drugs.
Ma'am.
And yes, you are correct.
Just a second.
I should have called an Uber and taken my cell phone. And
absolutely right, and you shouldn't have punched him. You shouldn't have punched him.
And I did not.
Well, you said you did.
Ma'am,
just a second. You said you did. Just a second.
Somebody choked
just a second.
I have text
and would not give my phone back.
Stop. You say you did, and it was after you punched him that he threw you to the ground.
Before I even did that, he had choked me and wouldn't give my phone back.
You're talking about him choking you when he was holding the phone in his left hand and choking you. I'm speaking.
If you don't, I'm sorry.
Speaking.
I apologize.
Okay, so this is what I think. You have a lawsuit against him for $4,500, and that's for the medical bills and punitive damages. And he has a lawsuit against you for attorney's fees, false arrest, and damage to his vehicle for $5,000. I'm granting both the complaint and the countersuit, but they negate each other, which means that you're going to have to show me one thing. I want to see the damage. You're talking about the hood of the car?
She kicked the bumper in from both sides, which is left dangling, and she also, with both her fists, basically caved in the front of my hood.
Let me ask you this question, sir.
Am I the whole?
Did she ask you to let her out of the car?
The answer is yes, but the issue was we were an hour and a half away. There were no lights. There was everything. We were on a strip of LBI, so there was no lights. There were no places that were actually open, and she wanted me.
Did she say to you, let me out of the car?
After she assaulted me, yes.
And did you immediately let her out of the car?
While we were immediately...
I'm talking about, I don't care whether it was dark, I don't care if it was in the middle of the Mojave Desert.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You don't get to punch somebody in the face.
I didn't punch him in the face.
Just a second.
After somebody choked me?
Just a second. I don't buy choking you, driving and swerving the car, holding your phone in one hand and choking you with the other.
And later today...
You know what she does for a living. She's not in the business of giving parking permits.
Okay, but this is her cousin's house and it has it, right?
No, you can read.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Dean Catlett says ex-girlfriend Briche Wigglesworth had him falsely arrested for assaulting her during a night at the Jersey Shore. Briche is countersuing for medical bills and assault.
Now, she's a big girl, and she wanted to be let out of the car.
I let her out immediately, as soon as possible.
No, you did not.
Well, immediately as soon as possible is not the answer. Okay, we have a draw. You both acted badly that evening just because you're a girl. You don't get to punch somebody in the face.
I didn't punch him in the face.
Yes, you did.
No,
you
I
even
didn't.
say
My
you
hand
did.
connected.
Just a second. Is what you're saying to me that you didn't, when I gave you 2.5 hours to write this down, maybe I read it wrong, is what you're telling me that you didn't write down here that I punched him in the face twice?
After somebody choked me?
No, just a second. I just asked you a question. Did you write here that you punched him in the face twice?
Yes, I did. After he choked me, after he did all that to me, and did not give my phone back?
Not all that.
How was I supposed to get home without a phone?
Listen.
How was I supposed to call the Uber?
Hey, I don't buy choking you, driving and swerving the car, holding your phone in one hand and choking you with the other.
Did you choke?
Ma'am, can I...
Goodbye. We're done.
Bye.
Ma'am, excuse me.
Bye, Judy. See you later.
Thank
Thank you.
Step out.
I was acting in self-defense. offense the entire time.
I'm glad I don't have to deal with this individual ever again.
I just want him to leave me alone. Like I wanted him to leave me alone that night.
And I hope that she finds what needs to put her back on the right path.
Why do you want to be around me so much, sir? I just want to be left alone.
As you can see, just things weren't really working out for her. A lot of anger issues.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Aragoyan versus Newborn, step forward.
21-year-old Sierra Aragoyan is suing her former friend, 21-year-old Tatiana Newborn, for a loan to pay impound fees. Tatiana is countersuing for damages to her car.
All right, Miss Newborn, I'm going to start with you. This is what the case is about. You were out for an evening with the plaintiff, and you were staying over at somebody else's house, and you were driving your car. When you got home, and this may all not be perfect, but when you got back to the house where you were going to spend the night, according to you, the only space available was a sort of reserved spot where you were not allowed to park overnight. And what kind of a sign was there that told you that you couldn't park there overnight?
There was this sign here that I have pictured. I was told that I couldn't park there.
Just a second. The signs say that informed you that you couldn't park there overnight.
It said you couldn't park there unless you had a permit, and it was posted.
Okay, so it says no parking here without permit, and usually under those it says violators will be towed at the owner's expense, right? And that's what the sign said.
Mm-hmm.
And you parked there anyway.
I was given a permit.
No, you weren't given a permit. You parked there anyway because you say the plaintiff told you that it's okay, you can park there. I park here all the time. I'll write out a permit for you. And she wrote out a piece of paper and put it on your car. Is that what she did?
Yes.
And you parked there?
Correct.
How old are you?
21.
And your car got towed?
Yep. And it was damaged.
Just a second. I don't care. You parked where you weren't supposed to park. Plaintiff paid for the car to get out of impound.
Because it was her fault.
Just a second. No. She paid for the car to get out of impound, and she's suing because she wants that money back, $300 and some odd. Your counterclaim is, you say, because she told you you could park there, even though the sign is right in front of you saying no parking overnight, towers will be towed away at owner's expense, the tow claiming for the scratched car.
Correct.
That's dismissed. Now, if you're not, you don't look as if you are a dim-witted person. If a sign tells you not to park someplace without a permit, what do you do for a living?
I work at a hotel.
Okay. You don't work for the government that gives out parking permits, right?
No, not at all.
Okay. And I assume you know what she does for a living? That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
You know what she does for a living. She's not in the business of giving parking permits.
Okay, but this is her cousin's house, and it has it stated what to do when someone comes over. So she can read, right?
No, you can read.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, it's your car. You can read no parking without a permit. Violators will be towed away at their owner's expense. And if you choose to park someplace, I don't care if she told you, take 10 steps back. It's okay. You're not going to hit anything. Takes 10 steps, but you wouldn't do that because you'd look and you'd say, gee, there's something here that's going to stand in my way. But you don't do things where it's right in front of you. That was your place that was clearly a space that required a proper permit. And the fact that your friend that works in a hotel told you, yeah, you can park here. My cousin lives here. I park here all the time. Well, she parks here all the time at her own risk. Anyway, she gets her money back. How much was the towing?
The towing was $350, but I only had $360 to give her because I didn't have it in change, so I wanted the $360.
$360. Judgment for the plaintiff. Counterclaims dismissed. We're finished.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Miss Bayes told you she was pregnant.
Yeah.
She sent us a picture of a baby saying she had the baby.
I'm just not sure if there ever was one to begin with.
Next Judge Judy.
CR was wrong, period.
I mean, she was in the wrong 100%.
I didn't have money to pay for it.
Like, everything about this whole situation was just wrong on her end.
Well, the friendship is over at this point.
I don't really care. It's not that big of a deal to me.
I don't need fake friends.
You can old enough to drink, old enough to pay your bills.
When he offered to find you a cheaper mechanic, what did you say?
I agreed.
A coworker was desperate to get rolling again.
Did you, Alice?
Yes.
But how far would she go?
Did you pay him his $700?
No.
Why not?
To get out of his debt.
He told me all the time that if he didn't have a wife, he would hit on me.
I assume that you can prove it.
Oh, no.
This is Judge Judy. Roger Jeffers is suing his former coworker, Shanika Winfield, for an unpaid loan to fix her car.
Order. All rise. It's case number 209 on the calendar, the matter of Jeffers versus Winfield.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, ma'am. Have a seat.
Miss Winfield, how long had you and Mr. Jeffers worked in the same place?
Probably like 90 days.
What do you do?
That place was a bakery.
Was he working there before you?
Yes.
What did Mr. Jeffers do there?
Weigh the ingredients, I guess.
What did you do?
Package the bread.
Are you still working there?
No.
Did you quit or did you get fired?
It was like let go.
You were fired?
Sure.
Not sure. That's a yes. Where are you working now?
Retail.
Where?
Well, it's not right now, but I do work. I'm on leave.
Where?
At Kohl's.
How long did you work there?
For 2 months.
How far is your home from the Kohl's you live with?
Myself.
How did you get to Kohl's?
My aunt or my friend.
I don't believe you. Okay. Now we're going to get to what this is all about.
Okay.
When you were working with Mr. Jeffers, you were having trouble with your car.
Yes.
You were speaking to someone about your car trouble. Prior to Mr. Jeffers offering to assist you in finding a cheaper mechanic, had you had any difficulty with him?
No.
When he offered to find you a cheaper mechanic to fix your car, what did you say?
I agreed.
Did he take the car or did you drive the car?
It was towed from my friend's house.
It was towed, which means it was not drivable.
Right.
How long had it been since you had the car and it was drivable? How many months?
It was probably like maybe 2
Not
weeks.
probably like maybe. Was it a day, a week, a month?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's a good guess. So you hadn't had a working car in 2 weeks? Is a yes?
Yes.
And Mr. Jeffers said, I can find you a mechanic that can probably do it cheaper. So it was towed from your friend's house
Yes.
to the mechanic?
Yes.
Yes. Who towed it?
His nephew, I believe.
So he did you a favor?
Yes.
He didn't charge you for that, did he?
Well, it was included in the price that he gave me.
Okay. And what price did he give you?
$700.
He said, my friend can fix it for And what had you been quoted by someone else to fix the car?
$1,300.
Finally get the car. Not yes.
Yes.
When you finally went to get the car, according to you, you drove it home.
Yes.
That's what you said, because I read your answer.
Yes.
You said you drove it home. So what was towed in was a non-drivable car, had to be towed, and it hadn't worked for 2 weeks. When you got it out of the mechanic, you drove it home.
Yes. Well, before the car was towed, it did drive, but it had issues. So they were saying if I drove it would blow up.
You had to have it towed.
Right.
And you drove it home.
Yes.
And it didn't blow up.
No.
Did you pay him his $700?
No.
Why not?
Because I had to call the cops to get my car back, and they had it for like a day less than a month. And my car, it goes like 20 miles per hour when you put it into drive. And when I had got my car to take it to get an oil change, the oil pan is stripped, so that's another $1,000 I would have to put in to fix that as well. So like the car, it doesn't work even if he did fix it or whatever he did to it.
You have proof that you paid this money?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. Did you ever tell her that this was going to be, came in and gave them $400?
Yes.
Well, if you told her it was only going to be $700, then she really only owes you $300.
I told her $700 plus parts.
Is that what he told you?
Never.
Well, that's not what I believe. She said she came in and gave them $400 and took the car, leaving a balance of $729. But you told her it was only going to be $700.
I told her 700 plus parts when she told me her estimate that she got was $2,000.
Did he tell you the whole bill was going to be $700?
Yes, ma'am.
And you gave them $400?
Yes.
You picked up the car, drove it home. When did Mr. Jeffers ask you for the money?
He never asked me for the money after I got my car back.
Were you still working in the bakery?
Yes. I worked for like 3 more days after I got my car back.
Was he there?
Yes.
And didn't you have any interaction with him? You were driving the car. You had paid $400. Didn't you have any interaction with him at all?
No.
He didn't say anything to you? He didn't say you owe me $300 or $700? No, nothing. Did you have a conversation with her, Mr. Jeffers?
No, I didn't say anything. I was kind of just waiting for her to come to me and talk to me about it. I was kind of waiting, and then she got dismissed on Saturday. And then I called her and told her I was going to file conciliation papers. And
did you tell her how much it was?
Yes.
What did she say?
She says, go ahead and take me to court. And then I needed her apartment number. I couldn't find my papers until I knew her apartment number, so I went up to her place. I went in there, but there was no numbers on the apartment. So I called her one more time and asked her for the apartment number, and she says she wasn't going to give it to me. Go ahead and file your papers. So about a half hour later, I got a call from the police asking me to call them. And so I didn't have any time, so I didn't get back to him until about noon. And I told him what had happened. And I told him I just was trying to get the apartment number. He said, well, I'm going to file this report in a few days. You can go over there and get a copy, and you'll have your info. And so I had got a call. I think my phone says March 19th. But she said on my phone that she had texts from other people saying that I had done the work for favors, which I didn't think was very kind.
Well, that's what you say in here, Miss Winfield, which if you put it down in paper, I assume that you can prove it.
Oh, no.
Just a second. If you put it down in a sworn paper, I assume that you can prove it, just so that you know why I started on you and I looked a little annoyed, just so that you'll understand where I'm coming. Harassment, and I take them very seriously. I'm speaking. Don't speak. I take them very seriously. Women and some men have suffered sexual harassment in their workplace for a long time, and I take those allegations very seriously. I don't like it when somebody throws them around without any proof in order to avoid paying a debt, which is what you did here, unless you can prove it. Because in here you say that the plaintiff took your car hoping for sexual favors from me.
That's what his mechanic told to me.
Just a second.
Go ahead.
That's hearsay.
That's fine.
That's hearsay. Nowhere did the plaintiff ever say or do anything to you, either in the workplace or any place else, that suggested he was interested in you for anything else other than the repayment of this favor that he did for you.
I mean, he told me all the time that I was beautiful. If he didn't have a wife, he would hit on me.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, he has said that.
Oh, just a second. This man said to you, you're beautiful, and if he didn't have a wife...
Yes.
Okay, tell me when he said that to you.
I don't know exact dates, but he said this to me at work. But, like, he never opened his mouth and said that the sexual favors is what he wants. This is what the mechanic said. Yeah, he's
just
not...
Tell him. And you don't open up your eyes wide as if you don't understand what I'm saying to you. You watch enough television to know what hearsay is, and you can't tell me what somebody outside allegedly told you, or else you could have had them come right here, and they could have told me themselves upon what that they based their conversation with you. Did you ever say to her that she was beautiful, and if you didn't have a wife, you would hit on her?
No. She had said to me once, she came, this was about 2 weeks after we got the car towed in. She came by, it was early in the morning, and she looked at me and she said, you know, you could be my boyfriend. And I said, well, I would be a better friend than a boyfriend. And we were still, you know, pretty far apart, but I thought that was kind of strange.
You mean this was 2 weeks after you got the car towed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just changed my mind. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700. We're finished. You pay for parts and labor on your own car. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He lied. He know what he did. He know what he said, and the mechanic's not here to witness in between what happened.
Offensive, and I don't think that he would say that.
He said that he could take his time because he wanted me to do sexual favors for him.
I don't know about favors.
I mean, it was a joke. He's an old man.
If I have a chance to help somebody else again, I will.
Don't ever.
Now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Castro versus Ekchan. Step forward.
Gabriel Castro is suing Rigo Ekchan for an unpaid round of a cooperative money pool known as a condena.
Mr. Castro, it is your claim that the defendant owes you money from some sort of a savings plan game that you play. Pronounce it for me. A condena?
Condena, yes, ma'am.
Condena. And for the life of me, I actually can't figure out, from your perspective, how this game goes. I can understand it from the defendant's perspective. So let me try to understand what you do. 9 people get together.
Yes,
in
Your
this
Honor.
case, 9 people. In this case. And you've been involved in these games before.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And each person puts in $250 a week or a month?
A week.
A week.
A week. And they put in $250 a week for how many weeks?
For around 32 weeks.
And $250 a week times 32 weeks equals $8,000. So each person puts in $8,000. Then you say that at the end of the 32 weeks, you put numbers in a hat.
Yes.
And the first 8 people get $9,000.
Yes.
Which is like 12.5% interest.
Yes.
The 9th person who picks number 9 gets nothing.
Yes.
And that's how you play the game.
Your Honor,
Now,
it's not like that, Your Honor.
now, that's what he says.
Oh, that's what he says.
That's what he says.
Okay.
Now, you try to explain to me, because what you say is you drew number 9. So you didn't get any money. And he says you played before, and you've gotten money
Your Honor.
because you drew lower numbers. This time you drew number 9. He said, you knew how the game was played.
Yeah, but that wasn't that. That is not the case. So that's not what happens. Your Honor.
Okay.
That's what his version.
Okay.
I'm
Then
explaining how.
let me hear how you think the game is played.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He say he want to kill me and he want to bring some people to.
Why would you say to him, I had money trouble? That's not, please don't send people to kill me. I'll pay you back your money. But you actually tell him why you stole his money.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gabriel Castro says Rigo Ekchan cooperative money pool, known as a condena.
Let me hear how you think the game is played, because let's understand something, Mr. Castro.
Yes, ma'am.
If somebody's putting in $250 a week, they expect to get more than $250 a week back at the end of the game. They don't just expect to get their money back, because then you can put your money in a bank.
But, yeah, Your Honor, but what it is that it's not a game. This is like a loan. Or it could be a savings. What it is that at the beginning, we do the draw at the beginning, not at the end. Everybody's going to get a number from 1 to 9. If you
just a second. So, according to you, when you enter the defendant's condena,
yes,
you got a number.
Yes.
And your number was?
Number 9.
And then what happened?
And then what happened, I started giving him the payments of $250 a week, I'm sorry. And when my number came, he didn't give my money.
Explain to me, what do you mean your number came? If you were number 9, you get paid last.
No. This is how it works, Your Honor. How it works is that it's 9 people that get together, and we draw numbers. Whoever gets the first numbers, you get a loan. The last numbers, it's a savings.
Just a second. The first person is a loan?
Yeah, well, if you get the first number from 1 to 5, it's going to be like a loan. You still get the $9,000, but you still have to pay.
Understand that?
I sort of do.
Okay, explain it to me.
Well, when you draw the numbers, you get the cumulative money that they put in, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I mean, sir.
Right. And it goes from 1 to 9. So by the time you get to number 9, what he's saying is that you're getting the money. You're getting paid off the money. At the beginning, there's not $9,000 because these people haven't put their money in. So you have to continue to put your money in every week. That's how everybody gets paid.
Yeah, everybody gets paid.
But everybody gets paid more than what they put in.
No, Your Honor, nobody gets paid more. This is a community. This is a Hispanic thing that we do. Some of us don't have no legal status in this country. So if you want to get a lump sum of money to do anything that you want to do, you want to buy a car or whatever you want to do, you need a lump sum of money. You get it at the beginning of the numbers or at the end.
I see. No, I see. So you don't get any extra money.
No,
you just get the amount of money. Now, what does he get out of it?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You acknowledge here that I'm looking into every possibility to begin to gather your money and return it to you. That's what you said to him. Well, what happened to his money?
You know what? Because he...
No, I don't know what. I don't know what. That's what you said to him.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gabriel Castro says Rigo Ekchan never paid him for a round of a cooperative money pool known as a condena.
Now, what does he get out of it?
Who he got out of it? I think he was the first number. So he gets the first $9,000 that all of us pitch in. He'll get them. He invested on his business or whatever he has to invest on.
So he gets $9,000 right off the bat?
Yes, at the beginning.
Right off the bat?
Yeah, number one.
And you have to wait your turn
you have to wait your turn to get and I was the last person because that was my number that I took. But I'm still going to get my money. Nobody. This is not a gamble. This is not a game. You're not getting no price. You're not getting no price. You're not getting anything.
I got it. Now I understand it. Did you speak to the defendant?
More than once.
And did you have any communication with him over text, email?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any of those?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look at them.
This is in Spanish, but they translated by Core. And this last text was from the beginning of the 2019.
Well, you acknowledge here, sir, that you owe him the money. You acknowledge here that you owe him the money. You acknowledge here that you had hard times. You wish with all my heart to have never met you because it is the worst thing you can do to a human being. I'm looking into every possibility to begin to gather your money and return it to you. That's what you said to him. Well, what happened to his money?
Okay. You know, he knows the rules.
Don't tell me what he knows. I'm reading what you wrote to him. I know you will want to kill me, but just be patient. I'll pay you back your money. Don't think that I won't do it, please.
Because...
That's what you said to him. You said that you had trouble. Your business wasn't good. You had all kinds of downturns. So you used his money.
You know what? Because he...
No, I don't know what. I don't know what. That's what you said to him.
Yes, because he amassed me. Because he want to kill me. And it's about myself.
No, this is about... You said, I experienced two things. My father's death and the wedding. Whose wedding?
His wedding, Your Honor.
Your wedding.
And I was one of his best men.
Just a second. So your father died, and you had to make yourself a wedding. So he says, a friend of mine didn't loan me the money because my father died. Multiply. I've only had it 10 days. I see it like a big doorway, although I wish it was more. I know God will multiply it very soon. Here's $300. Do you understand what I mean? You acknowledge that you...
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Do you understand what I mean? You acknowledge that you stole his money. That's what you acknowledge, that you stole his money.
Yeah, that's I say, because I'm in very big trouble, because he say he want to kill me and he want to bring some people to make me something happen in my life. And that's
Listen,
why I try to...
Why would you say to him, I had money trouble, my father died, I had to make a wedding? That's not, please don't send people to kill me. I'll pay you back your money, okay? I'll pay you back the money, even though I don't owe it to you. I'll pay you back your money. But you actually tell him why you stole his money. My father died, I had a wedding, I got married, I had expenses, whatever it was. Do you understand what I mean, sir? A lot of excuses. Yes. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. Thank you very much. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
A neighbor opens up after an attack.
I saw their dog run out of the garage, and he beelined it right for my dog. It had my dog by the muzzle and the mouth.
If I would have tried to kill him, I wouldn't be here suing him.
Because I think it's very bad to send some text to somebody.
And that's what he's trying to say, not to pay me.
To explain many things.
He's using all kinds of excuses.
I'm a very confident people, and that's why it's happened to me.
He tried to play games, and he's not going to do it to someone else.
Miss Bayes told you she was pregnant.
Yeah.
A teen convinced her mother,
We had a baby shower. We did all these things.
but questions remained.
I assume you went with her to a doctor?
She did not want me to go with her.
She had told us both of her parents were deceased.
And a child never appears.
She sent us a picture of a baby saying she had the baby.
I'm just not sure if there ever was one to begin with.
This is Judge Judy. Christina and Abraham Ravello are suing their son's former friend, 19-year-old Taya Trinity Bias, for court costs, DNA testing, and fraud regarding her alleged pregnancy.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 53 on the calendar, the matter of Ravello versus. Seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Miss Bias, how old are you?
19.
Who is this?
This is my mother.
Would you stand up with her, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you stand up with your folks? You're Mr. Ravello,
I'm Alejandro Gonzalez.
and these are your parents?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
When did you meet Miss Bias?
About February of 2018.
More than a year ago?
Yeah.
A year and a half ago. And when were you dating?
We never dated. We were workers together at Walmart.
Is that correct, Miss Bias, that you were workers together?
Yes.
Well, there had to come a time when you had some sort of dating experience, because at one point, Miss Bayes told you that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And when was that?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
When was that?
It was about the end of April. We had a sexual relationship about St. Patrick's Day.
Where?
My house.
Just the two of you there?
Yes.
And that was the only time?
No, actually, a few weeks after we found out that I was pregnant, we had sex again at my house.
Now, you say a few weeks after. By the way, don't you people discuss birth control with your children?
Oh, we did.
Oh, I have.
Before?
Yep.
We did.
And you?
Yep, we have.
So let me ask you a question, kids. What kind of stupid don't you get?
I take full responsibility for what I've done.
Same here.
Full responsibility for what you did. Did you give your parents back the money for the tests that they had ordered for the day that they took off to go to court to do a paternity test? Did you do any of that? No, you didn't. You just said, my bad. Now, Miss Byers, you say you were intimate again after you found out you were pregnant, and that was sometime in April?
Yes, it was towards the
Okay, so
beginning of
St. Patrick's Day is in March. Am I not correct? St. Patrick's Day is always in March. So what would make you go to the drugstore and buy a, whatever it is, a device or a gauge, what is it called?
Pregnancy kit?
A pregnancy kit. What would make, I haven't bought one. I don't know who they are. I know about,
It's okay, it's one of those
I know
things.
about, you know, I was pregnant, the rabbit died. That's how you knew you were pregnant. You didn't go to a stick or anything else. Now, what made you take a pregnancy test?
So a few weeks after we were, intimate, I was a few days late, and I had reached out to Alejandro, let him know I was a few days late, and he said,
why would you want to do that?
Well, if it was a possibility, I wanted to let him know just to be safe, just because. And so we waited about went to the hospital, and that's where they told me I was pregnant, and then we bought another test so that I could take it in front of him.
In what month were you in a car accident?
The 17th of April.
So 4 weeks later?
Yes.
And you can't tell me what they told you in the hospital, because I'm not interested and it's hearsay.
I mean, I do have the paper.
Sure. If you have a report from the hospital, I can see it as a business record. You didn't take this test in April. You took it in March.
Oh, well, wrong day.
You took it in March, on March 25th. Do you remember on what date you had sex with the defendant?
The very first time, it was towards the middle of February.
Well, the middle of February isn't St. Patrick's Day.
I didn't say St. Patrick's Day, no.
She did.
The very first time that we had intercourse was in February.
Where?
At her house.
Tell me the circumstances, because clearly her mother doesn't know that.
So during, obviously, when we had intercourse, after I'd reached out to him, let him know that I was pregnant,
Listen, I know you have a story that you want to tell, but it's getting more interesting to me. Do you understand?
Yes.
You told your mother you had sex with him once on St. Patrick's Day. I assume that's what she told you. And then, again, I assume you asked her those questions, because you're...
Yes, ma'am.
So that...
I was aware that they were seeing each other, or at least speaking
They weren't
back
seeing each other.
I'm not really up to date on all of her sexual life, but I was aware that they had been speaking and communicating with each other in sometime in February, but as far as the exact dates, I am not sure, Your Honor.
Well, speaking and communicating with each other is not having sex together. In your house, do you work?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's why your house is convenient, because they clearly both have the same shifts from Walmart. I assume you never saw him in your house.
No, I did not.
Well, so that was a logical assumption. So that was February. That was before St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day may be a day you remember, but that was before St. Patrick's Day. And your pregnancy test, just so that you know, was March 25th.
Okay.
4 weeks later. Now, what happened in April? So you're in a car accident in April. You had already taken a pregnancy test. This is why, you know, you're getting fuzzy with me.
Yeah.
Because you already knew you were pregnant in March. Then you tell me you had a car accident in April, and when you went to the emergency room, they did a pregnancy test on you, and they told you were pregnant. Then you told him you were pregnant. In front of him, you took a pregnancy test. But the truth of the matter is your dates are all fouled up, right?
Yes.
Okie dokie. When did your daughter tell you she was wrong? And what did you say to her?
To be honest, I was upset, Your Honor. She's young, and I was upset. I wanted her to have different things in life, and that was not how I wanted it to start.
You're absolutely right. Did you suggest that to her?
I did.
And her response was?
Pretty much that it's, you know, I mean, she was already pregnant. There wasn't anything I could do to stop it at that point. So we just had to kind of deal with whatever came next.
You have other children?
No, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
I am a phlebotomist.
Is that how you support your family?
Yes, ma'am.
And other than working at Walmart, what do you do?
I actually work at a restaurant now.
There are other things that you can do at 19 other than have a baby.
Agreed.
With somebody who clearly doesn't want to have a baby, that you don't even like, that you never had a meal with outside of work, that the only thing you did was came over to your house when your mother wasn't working. Ta-da! Tell me in what month you allege you had a miscarriage.
The end of October, ma'am.
You have medical records?
I do not.
Well, if you were pregnant in February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, that's a very, very late miscarriage, which must have been at a hospital.
Correct.
What hospital did you go to?
I went to North Suburban, ma'am.
Did your mother go with you?
No, ma'am.
Did your daughter show signs of pregnancy in October?
I did not, Your Honor. She is a very independent young lady, and as soon as she was able to be 18 and make her own decisions and own choices,
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
February to March, March to April, April to May, May to June, June to July, July to August, August to September, September to October. That's a full-term pregnancy.
We had a gender reveal. We had a baby shower. We did all these things. It wasn't that I was never involved or any of that. We did all of these things because we did get excited that there was going to be a baby coming. Eventually, I got over being upset and started to get excited.
Well, your daughter is very independent.
Yes, ma'am.
And you had a party for her. I believe you. You see, I don't believe her. Neither do you. So you have an only child who you made a gender reveal party for, that you got excited about. You had an only child who carried to almost full term a pregnancy. I assume you went with her to a doctor?
She did not want me to go with her to the doctor. She had one of her girlfriends go with her.
Did you know the name of the doctor?
It's Women's Health Clinic. It's associated with North Suburban.
But you never went with her?
No, ma'am.
Not once in 8 months?
My wife had offered, we found out. We had told her, you know, because we had spoke with our son, and he had basically said, you know, we did have intercourse. He said, I immediately realized, you know, what I had done, and he asked Ms. Buys, hey, take the morning after pill, I'll pay for it. And she had basically told him that she has a heart condition.
She or the baby?
No, that Ms. Buys has a heart condition and that it would affect her if she took it. So we set up an appointment to meet her, and we asked to meet with her and her parents, and she had told us that both of her parents were deceased. So we met with her and her friend, and we had told her that, you know, we understand the situation. We raised our son to be responsible, and if in fact there was a baby, that he would take care of the child. But we wanted to make it clear that he had made it clear that he doesn't want to continue a relationship with her. Immediately after we
Did you know all this?
No, this is if this is true, I did not know.
There's no question that what you're telling me is true, and there's no question that what he's telling me is true. The only one who's a liar is she.
My wife had told her that she wanted to be actively involved in the doctor's appointments. About an hour after we left, she had sent a text message saying that it was all moving too fast and that she needed to take a step back. And she,
yes, ma'am. I'd like to see them. It's a whole different story, right?
It is to me, yes.
We were also sent pictures of ultrasounds with the bracelet, you know, showing that she was in the hospital. You know, however, the ultrasound did not have her name on it.
The one I seen did, but I'm sure I said the ultrasound I seen did, but I don't know how many of them she had or what she shared with them.
She says to your daughter, good morning, when is your next appointment? That's Mrs. Ravello.
Okay.
When is your next appointment? I need to let my job know. I know this appointment is already scheduled, so whatever time it is fine, and we'll make it work. Supportive, correct? Did you know that? No, because she told them that you were dead. For the time being, I need to take a major step back for myself and the baby. I will still notify you and everything you like, but right now, I need to step away from this. She really, what your daughter wanted was to speak to their son personally, and I gather that they felt as if he needed a buffer, which turned out to be very good judgment on their part.
Okay.
To keep him away from her, because he's 19 and stupid, and she is 19 and stupid, but birds make babies, dogs make babies, cats make babies, fish make babies, elephants make babies, all kinds of animals, ants make babies. You know, you don't have to be a genius to have a baby.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Christina and Abraham Ravello claim their son's former friend, Taya Trinity Bias, faked a pregnancy and claimed their son was the father.
She answered, if I don't hear from Alex himself by Friday, as per my lawyers, I have every legal right to leave the country on a temporary and permanent stint. The Dominican Republic has no extradition treaty for citizens. If agreements were supposed to be met, it should have been on all fronts, not just mine. So if I don't hear from Alex himself Friday, I'll be leaving for good. Again, if I don't hear from him by Friday, we will also be pursuing full legal rights. My child will never be a game or a force of leverage, but if we are going to come to a common ground, the statuses would have stopped last night. What does that mean?
So his sister started posting on Facebook about me, saying that, oh, wow, now she's pregnant. I wonder who the dad is. And when we had sat down and had a conversation, I asked out, and we both agreed, because me and Alejandro both, being stupid teenagers, were posting malicious statuses towards each other. And we both agreed that the statuses would stop after the agreement.
Okay,
and the
so you all agreed that you were going to stop this person who's going to have a baby, who is mature enough to have a baby, despite his having a reasonable conversation with her mother, spends her time posting negative things with him, another genius, and now we got his sister involved, because his sister probably feels as if he got snookered by somebody, and so she got involved. It would be a terrible thing, of course, if you had a baby that survived almost to its 9th month and then you miscarried. I have no proof of that. Your mother wasn't at the hospital with you. She seems like a perfectly reasonable, lovely lady. I'm just not sure if there's a deceased baby or one that's living elsewhere, or if there ever was one to begin with. I don't know. I guess unless you want to spend a lot of money, you'll never know whether Miss Byers decided at the last minute that if you weren't going to be in her life, she was going to get even, she was going to give up this baby for adoption, or maybe give it to a friend. Who knows?
I can tell you, Your Honor, that's at least that's definitely not the case. The baby was never given up. Emotional stuff.
What I'm asking you is, did you ever see proof that your daughter had a miscarriage?
No, ma'am, I guess I did not.
And it's actually beyond the realm of my imagination that a 19-year-old girl would start to go into labor. She lives alone?
No, ma'am, she lives currently with my mom. When she got pregnant, she moved there.
She left your house?
Yes.
Did your mother go with her to the hospital? Is my question.
Not as far as I'm aware of.
Well, you don't speak to your mother?
I speak to my mom. It's been something that's been emotional, so it's not something that we talk about a lot.
What Mr. and Mrs. Ravello are suing for is the time that they took, the costs that they incurred, getting paternity tests ordered, going to court, and the emotional roller coaster that your daughter caused them.
That's not what happened.
They would actually like answers. I can't give you answers today because I can't force her to give you answers. Unfortunately, you'll never know what the status was of that baby, if there ever was one. I don't know. The whole story sounds very strange. You'll just have to get over it and make sure that you take necessary precautions until you are physically, financially, emotionally, and independently ready to become a father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You know, because birds make babies, dogs make babies, cats make babies, fish make babies, elephants make babies, all kinds of animals, ants make babies. You know, you don't have to be a genius to have a baby.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She told us she had the baby. And right after that, my roommate, who she was in contact with my entire pregnancy, I asked her to let her know that I was no longer pregnant. She knew that.
The only thing I know about you is that when your mouth is moving, you're lying.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Christina and Abraham Ravello are accusing their son's former friend, Taya Trinity Bias, of faking a pregnancy. They are suing for their damages.
Now, she sent us a picture of a baby saying she had the baby. She told us she had the baby.
And right after that, my roommate, who she was in contact with my entire pregnancy, had sent her, and I asked her to let her know that I was no longer pregnant. She knew that.
The only thing I know about you is that when your mouth is moving, you're lying. That's the only thing I know about you. The only thing. Can I see the picture she sent?
Yes, ma'am. This is the one of her telling me when the baby was born, how much it weighed, and what time she had the baby, and the name of the baby.
You want that?
Yes. Where did you get this picture from?
It's a friend.
What's a friend?
I got it from a friend.
You got the picture from a friend?
Yes.
Is this a picture of her baby?
Yes.
When did she have this baby?
June of last year.
When did you ask her for this picture?
I want to say the 29th of October, so a few days before.
A few days before what?
I notified that the baby was born.
Had you already had your miscarriage?
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you were living with your grandmother at the time?
Yes.
Does she work?
Yes. She works at Lowe's as a cashier.
Did she go to the hospital with you?
No, ma'am.
Who went to the hospital with you?
My roommate at the time. Her name is Alexandria.
I thought you were living with your grandmother.
She lives with us as well at the time.
What does Alexandria do?
I don't know currently. We are no longer in communication.
Good girl. Good for her.
You'll never know. Which case you'll be able to get her medical records from this hospital. Now you know the hospital, you know the date, and you'll be able to find out.
We believe they're non-existent.
They also believe the pregnancy pictures of me weren't real.
Just a second. I don't know.
I have them right here.
I don't believe anything you say.
I don't know.
Wasn't talking to you.
Don't speak to each other. You caused an awful lot of trouble for an awful lot of people. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. Keep waitressing.
Parties are excused when they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
A caring grandmother steps in.
The school called you. Her daughter smells for marijuana.
She wants to take my child. When she called the police, she said I was kidnapping her daughter.
Judge Judy.
I just hope that Disley gets him to leave me the hell alone.
I'm hoping we can move forward and never have to deal with her again.
Anytime that I did try and reach out to speak to Alejandro, I was told to go through his mother.
She's been a compulsive liar since day one.
To definitely take a step back and look at my actions before I do them.
Better choices, yeah.
If a relationship doesn't work out, you're not supposed to be a jerk.
Playing mind games with his ex?
Is this a new girlfriend?
Yes, it is.
Other than to bring her...
But it's the judge who has all the fun.
Or she could leave. Feel better?
I do.
It is my mission in life.
This is Judge Judy.
Corinna Botti is suing her ex-boyfriend, Ronald Parentozzi Jr., for car lease fees, impound and registration fees, and tickets.
Order. All rise.
Now, it's case number 234 on the calendar in the matter of Abadi versus Parentozza. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss Abadi, this used to be your boyfriend. He's not your boyfriend anymore, which should probably view as some sort of a blessing. But while you were together, and despite the fact that you, your grandmother, your aunt, your uncle have probably been watching this program for a very long time and forced you to watch it, you made the #1 cardinal sin when you were with the idiot, which is you co-signed for a lease on a car for him as the primary. Then you split, and now it's cost you a whole lot of money.
Correct.
Parentozza,
Yes, ma'am.
this a new girlfriend?
Yes, it is.
Other than to bring her here to be annoying so that she could wear this strap, that she's here.
Yeah, witness to the harassment to my family.
You have no cause of action for harassment to your family, so Berg, she could leave.
Sure. Ma'am, this way.
Tell her to get a shawl. Feel better?
I do.
It is my mission in life. You see, Mr. Parentozza, if a relationship doesn't work out, you're not supposed to be a jerk. Now, I know that's sometimes hard for men not to be jerks. There are some men who aren't jerks. Bird is not a jerk. But anybody who's been in a relationship with somebody who has been nice to them and co-signing for a car for you so that you could drive a car, drive it into the ground, make it disgusting, which is precisely what she alleges that you did here. And then when the two of you agreed to try this case in this court, they said, do you have a witness that you want to bring? Or you said, I want to bring my girlfriend. You have no counterclaim, so that there's no real reason for her to be here, just to be an annoying jerk.
Well, as a witness to harassment to my mother, to my grandmother.
Listen to me. You don't have a counterclaim for harassment, so I don't give a rat's behind who she's harassed. Do you understand?
Yep.
Yup is not an answer.
Yes.
Yes is an answer.
And I like the proof. I ran the car into a ground because when I left it to the police to be impounded, it was in pristine condition. So I like to see that.
Impounded. Did you smoke anything this morning?
No, Your Honor.
I'm just asking you. Because, you know, the reaction that I'm getting from you is a little bit fuzzy, hazy. And maybe before you came on the program, I don't know, is marijuana legal here in California now?
Yes, it is.
Ugh. So it's not illegal to do that.
Yeah, I have a job that requires drug testing, though.
Well, hair or urine?
Both.
Really?
Yeah, I work with the police.
Oh, my God. Anyway, she leased a car. You didn't have any money. That's when you were together. You split. You took the car. In what month and year did you take the car?
April.
See what I mean about
Your
that
Honor,
smoking?
I have the answer to
What?
that. He took the car in April 30th, 2016. We split in October 2017, and he...
You mean he leased the car in April?
Leased the car of May 2016 was the start of the lease.
Fine. May, so now you remember.
We broke up August of 2017.
And you broke up 2017, and you've had...
No, never said that.
Oh. You work for the police. What do you do for them?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't pertain to this.
What do you do for them? You mentioned it. I want to know...
Communications, antennas, satellites, fire and police.
Got it. Okay. And the two of you lived in what state, Miss Abadi?
We lived in New Jersey.
And where did you take the car to? Also in New Jersey?
Yes.
When you left, the car was on a lease, which means it had to be paid for. And how much was the monthly payment on the car?
$282.
And in what month and year was the car impounded?
It was this year,
Your Honor, I have the answer to
July. July of this year.
July 2019. And why was the car impounded?
Because there was no registration on the car. There was no registration due to the registration being sent in the mail to her address and her mother proceeding to dispose of it instead of sending it to me to try to take care of the registration.
Well, it's a very good way to get your interest, sir, because let me tell you what happens. If you are the primary person on a car, if you, while in your perfectly sober state, or your girlfriend in the midriff is driving the car and is in an accident, or midriff is responsible for the damage.
Yes, and when you want the car registered?
I'm speaking, which means that it's a very good way of getting your attention, which is you may be paying for the lease. And I don't know if you were paying for the lease, but I assume you were paying for the lease on the car because otherwise they would have repossessed the car. But what she wanted you to do is, since you're not together as a couple anymore and you and Miss Midriff are now a couple, she said, get the car out of my name. Trade it in, turn it over so that you can, the two of you, because I assume Miss Midriff has a job. You told me that you have a job with the police department, so I would assume that you have enough money to get a car to pay off $282 a month for the lease on a car. So you can do that. You chose not to do that. What you chose to do is keep it and drive it around with Miss Midriff. So she said, he thinks I'm going to send him the registration on this car. Now, he works for the police department. Maybe they'll pull him over and they'll take the car away, and that's the way I'm going to get the car back so that I don't have to worry that do you have a job?
Yes, I do.
That they're going to garnish my wages because Miss Midriff had an accident while she was texting on the phone.
Well, me being the co-signer on the lease, I'm driving.
Just a second. And I'm telling you that I don't believe the fact that you would not have, maybe didn't, but would not have let, under the appropriate circumstances, Miss Midriff borrow your car. So whether you, who are certainly not under the influence of any unknown substance today, are driving in the car and have an accident, she's responsible. And she doesn't get the benefit
with me having the insurance on the car, she's responsible.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. She's responsible. As much as you are. And if you hit a woman walking with her triplets in a stroller and there is a verdict against you, first of all, they wouldn't just sue you, they would sue you and her.
Being the co-owner, signing her rights to it, yes, you're right.
Oh, thank you. Being validated by you is the high point of my day. How much did it cost you to get this car out of impound?
Cost me $230.
How much in tickets did the car have on it?
Car had about...
Not about, I don't want to hear about.
It had $200 worth of tickets on it.
Can I see it,
for
please?
the registration, which she refused to give me.
I'm not asking you a question.
All right. I don't owe her for impound. I don't owe her for tickets. The tickets are in her name.
That's why we're here. Well, first of all, these are for tolls.
He was driving through tolls.
Tolls that weren't paid, so that...
That Easy Pass needs to clear up. I don't owe her the money for Easy Pass failing to comply with.
Where did you have to go to get the car?
I had to fly home to New Jersey. I live in Georgia.
How much did that cost you?
Cost me over $400.
May I see it, please?
Sure.
The only reason she flew
I didn't ask you anything. Chill out. Actually, $419. What'd you do with the car?
I returned it to the dealership.
How much were you charged?
I was charged $4,768.
May I see it, please?
Sure.
Favors $5,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The police department called me when it had been impounded.
The car was impounded because she contacted the police and they had a setup.
It was disgusting. It smelled like an ashtray.
To where when I left the one morning, they pulled me over right in front of my house.
It had urine bottles all over the back seat.
And they impounded it right there.
It was just trashed.
I still don't believe that I owe her anything.
It's time for him to buy his own damn car.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Felder versus Love. Step forward.
23-year-old Quintarius Felder is suing his former friend, 23-year-old Kayla Love, for an illegal eviction, the return of rent, and moving expenses.
Mr. Felder, you were living with the defendant in her house as a roommate.
Yes, ma'am.
You'd known her for a while and you were paying rent.
Correct.
$800 a month?
Correct.
And you moved in with her when?
July 2018.
And you had known her from before?
Yes, ma'am. We went to middle school and high school together.
And everything was fine?
Everything was perfect.
Just a second. But at some point, an arrangement which had been fine for several years, you paid your rent, you lived together nicely, something happened.
Right.
Would you like to tell me
On July 12th, I was at work. Miss Love texted me, asked me if I was going home, because she didn't want to leave the two dogs. I have a dog, Jay. She has a dog, Powder. She asked me if I was coming home because she didn't want to leave the dogs by themselves. Okay, that's understandable. I told her to leave my dog at the house, and she can take her dog. With her mother, at her mother's house, she has 2 other dogs. If you didn't want Powder...
Slowly.
Sorry, I have a lot of anger in me.
So, I have a lot of anger. My back hurts, though, so I'm trying to keep my anger under control and smiling because I understand I look better when I smile, Mr. Felder. So I want you to try to get rid of the anger.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why don't you give him back his dog?
Because that dog is like my child, and we both agreed I would keep both dogs.
Just because you say that dog is like your child, I don't care. Is this your mother?
Yes.
Don't look at me like I'm crazy. She's crazy.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Quintarius Felder claims former friend Kayla Love illegally evicted him. He is suing for the return of rent and moving expenses.
So let me understand this. She called you and said, listen, can you come home alone? I'm not going to. You said, you know what? You can leave my dog home.
Correct.
Take your dog to your mother's. My dog will be fine home.
Correct.
And?
So she said, I'm taking both of them. So I told her, once again, once I get to Fayetteville, which is where her mothers live, I was going to go and get my dog. She said she was going to, basically, you will see the cops. Good luck trying to get him. I had those text messages, Your Honor.
Just a second. Had you been having trouble with her before?
No, ma'am.
This was just a snit at the moment.
I feel like our friendship kind of changed when I got my car because she got jealous. I felt like she was jealous, but nobody was jealous when she got her car. So all that changed.
So you went to her mother's house to get your dog?
Correct, with the cops.
With the police?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get your dog?
I did not.
You have your dog now?
I do not. We went to court for him. The court order for her to give me my dog back, she appealed. I have the court order with me as well.
The judge directed that you get the dog back?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. You're not suing for the dog?
Correct.
Oh, that's too bad. And this happened in July?
Yes, ma'am, July 12th.
Why don't you give him back his dog?
Because that dog is like my child, and we both agreed when I got another dog so that his dog could have company, and then we agreed when we moved out that I would keep both dogs. Then he changed his mind.
Well, in July, there was no problem.
No.
Just a second. In July, Miss Love, there was no problem. And it's clear from what I'm hearing that he had one dog, that they liked each other. And in July, prior to July 12th, there was no issue. The issue arose on July 12th. And just because that you say that dog is like your child, I don't care. Neither, I hope, will anybody else. You heard this case before a judge, and the judge told you to give back the dog. Just answer my question. Did the judge tell you to give back the dog?
He did, but I have that record.
Just a second. The judge told you to give back the dog. Is this your mother?
Yes.
Don't look at me like I'm crazy. She's crazy.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're being a bad mother to an animal that you like because you say, he can't tell me that I can't take both dogs to visit my mother. I'll show him. You're going to be met by the police. Something wrong with you. Are you an only child?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Quintarius Felder claims former friend Kayla Love illegally evicted him. He is suing for the return of rent and moving expenses.
Because if the judge told you to give that back the dog, let me tell you what you're doing. By not returning Mr. Felder's dog to him, the longer the dog stays out of his custody, the worse mother you are. Because eventually probably went before a quasi-judge and you appealed that judgment. But a judge, if they have any brains whatsoever, and you can take this tape with you, is going to say, it's his dog, you have to return the dog. But the longer the dog stays with you, the more difficult it's going to be. And I don't give a rat's behind about you. The more difficult it's going to be for the dog.
I've been taking care of the dog for the year that we've lived together. I have vet records, grooming bills.
Listen to me. Listen to me. This is what I'm telling you. You are being not a good mother, a bad mother. You're being a bad mother to an animal that you like. Because you say, I want both of them because they like each other, therefore I'm keeping both. We're not roommates anymore. And therefore, I'm taking both. And he can't tell me that I can't take both dogs to visit my mother. I'll show him. You're going to be met by the police. Something wrong with you. Are you an only child?
He was not. He was neglected at all.
That requires an answer.
Yes,
Are you an only child? Sometimes that happens with only children. Did I ask you anything?
No, ma'am, you didn't.
Me, the universe. Me, the universe. That's what happens when you have an only child. And sometimes people like an only child. But I'm telling you, why would I ask that question unless... And it doesn't say anywhere here, sirs. Me, the universe. So after this, she evicted you.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct? All right. And you had paid the rent for July.
Yes, ma'am, 2 weeks prior.
Just a second. You had paid $800 for July.
Yes.
You get $800 back. So that's $800. Now, illegal eviction. When you say she illegally evicted you, how did she do that?
She told the cops, as of now, Trina, as of today, you no longer live in Raleigh. I had the locks changed.
Did you have the locks changed on the apartment?
I did after he was threatening me.
Just a second. Did you have the locks changed on the apartment? $800, illegal eviction. $1,600 is what you owe him so far.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You know, sometimes, historically, judges weren't the smartest bulb in the pack. Over the course of the last 50 years, they've gotten smarter. It's just going to take a long time for him to get his dog back. Somebody is going to give him his dog back, which means that the longer you wait, the greater the separation. When a child is in foster care with another family, the longer that child, difficult it is very often for the child to reintegrate to their biological family, even though the foster family says, I love them, they're better off here than with the other parent, but they're going to go home. And the faster that happens, the better off. And I want you to stop thinking about Miss Love, universe, and the rest of the world revolves around you. It doesn't. There are people smarter, better looking, more sympathetic, make more money, have better careers, do other things that are more enriching to humanity and the right thing to do. And they told you, give him back the dog. I'm telling you, even though it's not before me, give him back the dog. And the way you're shifting your foot and your mother's looking, I don't know, I don't know how she's looking. Miss Love, the universe. Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,600. We're finished. That's what you're...
Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we not get a chance to speak?
No.
About his time, where he was supposed to leave the next weekend. He was moving out anyway.
Get out.
Okay.
Excuse.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Their dog reached the fence and bit our dog on the nose.
Pictures speak louder than words.
What the defendants have here...
Nothing really happened. We was best friends. She just wanted to take my dog.
We were best friends for 12 years, but definitely not anymore.
She's not going to take my dog. She thinks she can have anything that she wants, but she's not going to have my dog.
I just learned my lesson, and I will never help anybody again.
Emotional detachment with my dog.
He's drama. That's all it is.
Oh, I'm going to get my dog.
No, he's not getting the dog back.
much what I do is live streams, and there's people that watch what you do.
It was their first date, but they weren't alone.
I had no idea he was live streaming me at that time.
Now, will he get more attention than he wanted?
I told him that he was kidnapping me, and I felt very uncomfortable in his car.
Somebody who makes his living from somebody else's discomfort, whatever kind of living he makes. You were exploiting her.
This is Judge Judy. Seisei Zhang is suing Hitoshi Oichi for invasion of privacy, false imprisonment, and for kidnapping her during a Tinder date.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 188 on the calendar, the matter of Zhang versus Oichi.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in.
Are you?
31.
What do you do for a living?
I do e-commerce and social media marketing on the side.
Okay. Now, you were on a dating app.
Yes.
What is the name of the dating app?
Tinder.
And is that any special kind of an app?
Yes, it's kind of a more casual rather than formal dating app.
Explain that to me.
Well, you can swipe right or left on an image. And if you like someone, you can swipe right. If you don't like someone, you can swipe left.
It's pretty much a hookup app.
You mean you go like this? If you look at somebody and you go and say, that appeals to me. And when you say hookup, I assume you're not referring to putting a horse trailer on a tractor.
No.
So you were on that app, and so were you.
Yeah.
Yes, is the answer. What do you do for a living?
So, I'm a
Don't
dancer.
think about it. It's not, you know, somebody said to me, what do you do for a living? I would say, I'm a lawyer. I'm a judge. Somebody said to Bird, what is he? He's in law enforcement. The answer wouldn't be, I don't understand. I'm so old. I don't understand people who are 30 years old. They don't know what they do. What? I do a little of this. I do a little of that. I use my mother's bank account. Live in the basement. I'm a snowflake. What do you do for a living to support yourself?
I do a couple of stuff. I'm a dance instructor, and I do social media.
You do social media. What does it mean to do social media?
Pretty much, I'm on the platform. I don't know any better way to say that.
No, we're going to go slowly. You do a lot of social media. I mean, I have grandchildren who are on a machine all the time. All the time. You know, at dinner, in the shower, in the bathroom, they can't leave the phone. They're on social media. That's social media. What their friends are doing, what they ate for breakfast, how they cooked their sausage. You know, everything is important to them. So I can understand when you say, I do social media. I have no idea how you make a living doing social media. When you say I have a platform, I don't know what that means.
So pretty much what I do is live streams.
Live streams?
Yeah.
Live streams of what?
So pretty much you live stream, and there's people that watch you what you do, pretty much, and they donate money.
People watch you what you do because there's something interesting about what you do.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, well, everybody thinks they're a snowflake. Unique to the world. So you have enough people watch you. How do you make money doing that?
So there's viewers while you do live streams.
If there's what?
Viewers, meaning that there's people watching you real time.
There are viewers who watch you and?
And pretty much they donate money to you. Yeah, that's the world we live in right now.
So they'll watch you live stream some event in your life. In your case, it's going on dates.
Yes.
And if they like what they're watching, how do they get money to you?
Well, there's either PayPal. Yeah, there's a couple ways, but PayPal is one of them.
What's another way?
Pretty much in bits, which is a Twitch form of currency.
And you live on this?
I mean, I don't live like you, but I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That would be right.
It gets me going, though. Gets me to buy food, just able to survive.
And you don't have to do much except swipe and go on a date.
I mean, that's a lot, especially going out with someone like...
Okay, because that's what this case is about. Ms. Zhang says you were a date from hell. You took pictures from the beginning of the date to the end. You wouldn't let her out of the car when she wanted to be let out of the car. It was a very traumatic experience. She's going to tell me about it. And you've just explained to me what it is that you do. Now, let's start out with the date on which you swiped each other at the same time.
Not the same time.
Did I do that right? No.
Probably not.
I don't know. You got together at the same time. You liked her picture. She liked your picture.
I didn't really like her pictures. I just try to make friends with her. They're attractive. Kind of was.
You have no friends? You have him.
I mean, more friends the merrier.
Do you have any training to do anything?
Yeah, I could dance.
It's a something. Can you make a living at that?
I think you can.
Are you?
No, I am not.
Okay. On what date did you decide to meet?
December 10th of 2018.
Where did you meet?
We met at Uncle John's Barbecue and Sushi in Downey.
When did he start taping you?
I didn't know until we were driving to another restaurant because the restaurant that we were supposed to go to closed down, so we had to go to somewhere else in the car. And once he put the phone on his car vent, it was angled towards me, and I could hear text-to-voice messages on his phone of people insulting me. They were telling me I looked homeless and fat, and they said degrading stuff about my appearance.
Okay. Now, is there something different from what the plaintiff has said to what you want to tell me happened?
Yes, so pretty much everything she's saying is false.
Okay, where did you meet?
That's not true.
Where did you meet?
We met at Uncle Joe's.
They were going to close.
Yeah.
Yes. That's not a yeah. That's a yes.
Yes.
When you were at
my face with a big selfie stick, so it was not hard to miss. And before we met up, we were talking for at least a day prior to the date. And I did tell her that I was going to film myself, streaming myself on this date.
I want you to tell me exactly what you told her.
I said to her that, is it okay if I vlog on Twitch?
If you what?
Vlog. Vlog means like blog, but vlog, like video form.
You're gonna have to go in on that one.
But pretty much I told her I was gonna vlog on Twitch if it's okay. And
did you know what he was talking about?
No, not at all.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a 20th century thing. Vlogging is a new thing.
Just a second. Yeah.
21st century.
The 20th century, they were still horse carts. What? You better do more than dancing. 21st century.
21st century, that's what I meant.
So this was a 21st century thing. And I want to, how old are you?
26.
I want to tell you something. You see, Bird and I are also in this century. I know that you people who are 26 think that we should all die off very quickly so that you could, you know, take over and have them come. But we're not ready to go yet. So not everybody understands your language. So if that's what you said to her and she didn't understand what you were talking to her about, except that you were meeting at Uncle John's at 9:30 to see if you were attracted to each other in any way, I can understand that. What I want to know is, when did you start to film her?
Pretty much, I was streaming.
Not pretty much. At what point? In the car? In the restaurant?
I was already filming myself.
I don't care about you. I don't care about if you film yourself on the potty. I'm asking you when you started to film the plaintiff.
Very beginning.
At the restaurant.
Yes.
Explain to me how that happened. This is going to be a much longer case than I want to do.
So at the front of the restaurant when she arrived, I came outside to say hi, and I was already having the camera in front of my face.
It was in front of your face?
Yes, it was in front of my face, not hers.
I want to know when you started to film her.
Pretty much when she went in my car, because like...
All right, that's what we're getting to.
But she knew that I was filming, so I don't know why she went in my car.
I didn't know.
Knowing that I was
Just
already
a second.
filming.
Don't tell me what she knew, because you don't know what she knows. What she says is that while she was being filmed in your car, the morons who were watching you on your live stream, who have at work, they had nothing better to do than to bully your date by saying she looks homeless, she looks fat, she looks this, she looks ugly. That's what she said she heard coming from your phone. Then, according to her, she realized that you weren't just filming her, you were filming her live going out to these idiots who watch you.
She already knew that before she went in my car, though.
Tell me what you told her.
So pretty much...
Now, I don't want to hear pretty much.
Okay. So
I don't want to hear basically.
This is what happened. She already knew from the beginning of our meetup that I was already filming. And she even went in my car knowing that fact. And I have video proof.
Did you just hear what I told you?
No.
I said, you don't know what she knew. I want you to tell me what you told her about live streaming your date. and that people would be commenting on your date. That's what I want you to tell me, what you told her.
Pretty much, I didn't really tell her anything.
I can't deal with you. I actually can't deal with you. So,
I didn't tell her anything.
I can't deal with you. You know, you better stick to dancing and live streaming. I don't think you're going to make it anyplace else.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He finally dropped me off at a gas station in the same city.
I'd like to see that video.
I'm going to say that go to the police station, okay? You are not cool.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Seisei Zhang says Hitoshi Uichi kidnapped her during a Tinder date and then invaded her privacy when he began live streaming the night's events.
So now you're in the car and now you hear people commenting about your look and about your dates, these morons who have nothing better to do with their lives than try to bully somebody that they don't know, and somebody who makes his living from somebody else's discomfort, whatever kind of living he makes.
I didn't know he was live streaming me in front of many people.
What did you say to him?
In the car, I got really mad that I realized that he was live streaming me, and because of the harassment I got from the viewers. And basically, I told him that he was kidnapping me, and I felt very uncomfortable in his car, and he wouldn't drop me off back at my car. And
what did you say to him? Would you drop me off back at my car? Did you say that?
Yes, I think so, yes. In the video.
In the video, and what does he say to you?
He ignored me, and then I threatened to call the police on him, and then he finally dropped me off at a gas station in the same city.
I'd like to see that video. You weren't in the car, were you?
No, but I was watching the whole thing live.
I don't care.
Okay.
You're one of the idiots.
I have the video right here.
We're going to watch it.
There you go. Oh, I think that's her. That might be her, guys. How are you? I'm good. Kind of cold. Yeah. So I just went in there, and they said we have to get it to go. And he got there. So you have like no money, is that what you're saying?
Well, I do have money. It's in my car.
Why didn't you bring it? Do you want me to pay for everything? Is that why?
Well, I didn't know. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh my God, you're the scammer, huh?
No, I'm not.
Is that why you're on Tinder, to use guys to buy you food?
No.
Yeah, it is.
I had no idea he was live streaming me at that time.
So your life is going on a phone and broadcasting yourself via meeting?
No, that's like 24/7, you know? It's part of my life now. It's kind of like a reality show, you know? Why do you...
Are you going to put it on, like, MTV?
I feel like YouTube and Twitch is way better right now. Wait, can I see that address?
She is literally homeless in LA and needs to find someone to take her home so she can shower and eat for free.
That's exactly what she's trying to do, guys. That's exactly. Now I'm falling for this trap.
I'm going to say that, like, you kidnapped me, okay? Because, like, I'm in a car with a stranger, with a guy, and that you kidnapped me, and I'm going to file a police report on you.
Well, I have it all on film right now that you went to my car just to freeload off me with food. And we all know it, so.
Go to the police station! What are you afraid of? Go to the police station.
Sorry. See?
I was very uncomfortable, and I said to drop me off, but I was saying he was kidnapping me, and the only reason he dropped me off is because I threatened to call the police on him.
Always a good show here. Yeah, I'm having a show right now. They love me. I have like 90 people watching. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're not going to call the police on you.
Police not going to do anything.
My body pillow wants to touch you.
You are so sad. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry for you.
Oh, just leave, dude. She is crazy. Dude, finally, we made it out safe and sound.
I'm going to go back to you, sir, and ask you this one question again.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're an idiot.
You see the video closely, it's more focused on me.
Well, because you're a narcissistic idiot, and you're not paying attention. Pay attention to what I'm trying to say to you. Pay as much attention to what I'm saying to you as you did to match your tie to your hair.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Seisei Zhang is accusing Hitoshi Oichi of kidnapping her during a Tinder date and then live streaming the night's events.
At what point in the evening did you tell the plaintiff that it was your intention to a group of people?
I did not tell her.
And that's your problem. You see, you were exploiting her, as you probably have done to a lot of other people, exploiting them like they used to do on television. There was a cute show. I don't remember the name of it.
Candid Camera?
Candid Camera. That's it. It was 100 years ago. And old people like myself and Officer Byrd here remember Candid Camera. You know, where, what's his name?
Alan Funt.
Alan Funt would come up and surprise people doing something sort of silly. But before they showed those episodes of people acting either foolishly or surprised or uncomfortable, they would get their written permission to do it. Do you understand, sir, that when you came here, the lawyer handed you documents? It says that you're consenting to be filmed today, that you cannot sue either myself or the company because of anything that's said here today. You can't. So you've given an informed consent if you chose to read it. But if you didn't tell the plaintiff that your intention was not just to take a video of the date, because in today's day and age, you meet up on Tinder, and quite frankly, guys would be, I want to take a video of you, and I want that video to show you're here voluntarily, I'm not assaulting you, you're consenting to this hookup so that we have it for posterity. If I had young boys today, that's what I'd train them to do. But when you don't tell somebody that you're going to invade their privacy by taping them and showing it to other people for your profit, that's outrageous, sir.
Well, it was a public area, and you don't need
consent
for that.
You are using her as the subject of your live stream.
I was using more myself. She was just in the background.
You're an idiot, and you're not paying attention. Pay attention to what I'm trying to say to you. Pay as much attention to what I'm saying to you as you did to match your tie to your hair.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
What you did was invade her privacy. You streamed your date and proudly acknowledged that you had 94 people watching and commenting on her.
It was more on me, though. The angle wasn't adjusted right, but it was more on me, more focused on me.
Well, because you're a narcissistic idiot. It showed her face. It displayed her voice.
She didn't have to get in the car. She knew the camera was in front of my face. She could have easily left.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. The counterclaim's dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
They were nose to nose. I've never seen a dog fight like that. He just latched on her throat.
The dog has the capacity to bite into flesh.
Next Judge Judy.
No, I usually let them know and try and have a good time.
I was bullied severely online.
I said it's okay if I film on Twitch.
I had death threats from people.
I guess she was the only one available that night.
I'm gonna run if someone has a selfie stick, and
because I'm open to everything.
That is just completely wrong, and
I guess the law is not always justified.
Just an evil thing to do.
So you saw your young date talking to this shorter, much older man.
One guy felt disrespected.
It was very apparent that they were touching.
Then,
what did you...
He popped me from behind. It sounded like thunder in my ear, and his fist is so big it cut my lip all the way through.
As a result of your bad temper, he had to lose his front teeth.
This is Judge Judy. Stephen Miller is suing 24-year-old Mitchell Metcalf for orthodontist bills after Mitchell punched him in the face.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 150 on the calendar in the matter of Miller versus Metcalf.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. Metcalf, I'm going to start with you, sir. You had a date on the 23rd of June of 2017.
Yes, ma'am.
And it was a new date, relatively new date. What was the date's name?
Emily.
Was this the first date that you had with her?
Yes, ma'am. That's the first time I'd seen her in quite a long time.
And according to you, she was acting bizarrely that night.
Yes, ma'am.
Approaching other men, approaching other women, complimenting other women, making you feel uncomfortable.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I get out of this. And at some point, the two of you separated.
Yes, ma'am.
And the next time you saw her, she was engaged in some sort of social discourse with the plaintiff.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me exactly what you saw.
May I start from the beginning?
No.
Left the Uber. I had exited the Uber ride early, hence the advances Emily had made towards the driver. Made me uncomfortable. I asked the driver...
Like what?
She was saying things like, we should go home together. She had touched him and things of that nature.
So it made you feel uncomfortable that
Yes.
she was disrespecting the date.
Yes, ma'am. So
I got it. I sort of laid that out. Keep going.
I exited the car and proceeded down the block. The car made it to its destination, and we met up again and talked. I decided that we should go on with our evening, go ahead and make the best of it. So I stopped to smoke a cigarette. Whenever I turned around, Emily had disappeared again. I had peeked around the corner, and I saw Emily with who is Mr. Miller. At the time, I didn't know who Mr. Miller was.
Okay, you didn't know who he was.
No.
And at what time in the evening was this?
Approximately 12, midnight.
And where had you been before?
We had been on the other side of town and had drinks at a bar together.
So you had been drinking?
Yes, ma'am.
And had your date been drinking?
Yes, ma'am.
So the two of you had been drinking. You peeked around the corner and you saw your date. You're not one of those people, are you? What's your name?
Emily.
You're the date?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Stand up.
Yes. Sorry.
I just want to get a comparison of size. Okay, now you can sit down. So you saw your young date talking to this shorter. Exactly what they doing?
Her body pressed against his.
She had her body pressed against his.
Yes, they were. It was very apparent that they were touching from behind as I approached. I had no idea, like I said, who Mr. Miller was or his age. I knew his stature, of course. Now, as
you had an idea of his stature, sir. Even I can tell that. Even Bird, without his glasses, before he cleans them, could tell that you're much bigger and much heavier than the plaintiff.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I just want to know, sir, he's pressed against her. Is his back towards you?
Yes, ma'am.
And the front of Emily is facing you.
No, ma'am.
So how did you tell it was Emily?
Well, I knew exactly what she was wearing.
So they were both facing away from you?
Yes, as I approached.
And his back was towards you?
As I approached.
Well, if his back was towards you and they were pressing against each other, was he pressing against her back or her front?
They were side to side, and they were holding each other.
I want you to explain that to me. They were holding each other how?
At the hip.
So he had his hands on her hips and she had his hands on his hips?
Yes.
Okay, now you approached from behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And?
As I approached, I knew Emily's state of mind.
Look here.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't tell me what you knew about anybody's state of mind. You cannot testify to that because you witnessed it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't tell me what was in her mind. The both of you had a few drinks that night. Now, you approached the plaintiff from behind. His hips are being touched by Emily. He is touching Emily's hips with both of his hands, according to you.
One hand.
Oh. Show me exactly how that was. He was holding her with one hand, and what was he doing with the other hand?
It was at his side.
So his hand was down. You know, I'm not believing this. You do understand that. You do understand that at my very old, wise age, I'm not believing what you're telling me right now.
I understand.
And I'm the fact finder.
Let's get to the facts.
No, you're not. You're giving me hindsight through the story that you've told through your lawyer for the last 2 years. Keep going. So you approach Emily, who's a foot taller than the plaintiff. You're 2 feet taller than the plaintiff. His hand is on her hip, right? And his other hand is at his side, waiting to punch you.
No, ma'am.
Keep going.
As I approached Mr. Miller, I knew what I was thinking. And as I approached, I told Mr. Miller, I said, will you please leave Emily alone? It wasn't stated exactly that way, and I cannot remember the words exactly that I said.
Well, I want you to try to remember exactly the word. You remember where her hand was, and his hand was at the side. His back is to you. I want you to, after a couple of drinks.
First, I asked, what is going on?
You said, what's going on?
Yep.
And?
Emily did not reply to me. She looked at me, and what I saw in Emily was...
Don't tell me what you saw in Emily.
Okay.
Did the plaintiff respond to you?
Yes, he turned towards me.
Turned towards you and said?
At this time, he told me I should leave him alone.
And said, leave us alone.
Yes.
And you did what?
I stood there and I said no.
And then?
And then, when the plaintiff turned towards me, he put his hands on me, and at that time...
Well, tell me how he put his hands on you.
As he turned towards me, his hand, like I said, was on Emily. And when he turned, it was a sweeping motion. And at that point, I reacted, defending myself, not only, and Emily. This situation that we were in, I knew that I couldn't rightfully let her go into this club with a strange man, and that is why I approached in the first place. If it had been any other situation...
Just a second. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. What did you do?
At that time, when Mr. Miller made the sweeping motion, I reacted. And
what did you do?
I struck him.
In the face?
Yes.
That's why we're here. You have any dental records for me to see? Now, you hired a lawyer.
Yes, ma'am.
How much did you pay the lawyer?
$1,750.
And how long did you manage to extend the case?
The case was closed on October 23rd.
I've got it. Been in the business a very long time. Have you ever been arrested before?
No, ma'am.
Right, so this is the first time.
Yes, ma'am.
Did your lawyer request a conditional discharge or an ACD, an adjournment to contemplation of dismissal, if you stay clean and maybe go through an anger management class?
Yes, ma'am. I did everything that they asked.
Okay, so that's how the case was over. You went through an anger management program, you had an otherwise clean record, and the judge gave you a break. I told you, I've been here forever. My first cousin was Methuselah. Were you made aware of what his disposition is on his case?
After it was over, I realized that it had been dismissed.
Well, it was dismissed. It was dismissed only because he complied with certain requirements. He, in effect, said, listen, I'm guilty, but I'm a nice guy, and I'm going to keep my nose clean. That's the arrangement I made with my lawyer and the judge. Happens all the time. Going to go through an anger management course. How long was the anger management course?
It was 6 sessions, once a week.
Okay. You know, I know that you only go through anger management classes if you have an anger management problem.
No, ma'am.
That's the only reason. Otherwise, you say, I'm not guilty, I'm going to trial. This was all self-defense. I want to go to trial.
Ma'am, my lawyer explained to me that...
Don't tell me what your lawyer explained to me. You're a very smart guy. You say I'm not for this evening. He, in almost a sweeping motion, was going to hit me, so I punched him first. That's, to me, is self-defense, and I want to go to trial.
My attorney did not give me that option. He said that the case was unclear.
Just a second. Your attorney has nothing to do with giving you the option, sir. Nothing. What your attorney said to you was, this is the best deal you're going to get. You go for 6 weeks for anger management, you stay out of trouble, this case is going to be dismissed and sealed. That's the best thing that could happen to you. And that's what you did. You're allowed to do that. You also have to pay for his dental work.
No, ma'am.
Oh, well, I'm telling you, yes, sir. Step up. I also see that I do not have a cross-claim for a false arrest. You were arrested, were you not?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were held in jail for a while, were you not?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And I don't see a claim here for false arrest. Did you ever file a claim for false arrest against him?
No, ma'am.
That's a good thing.
I just wanted everything to be over. That's the reason I took this deal. That's the reason I didn't go to trial, and my attorney...
The reason you didn't go to trial because you were guilty of punching this man in the face, because you had had a couple of things to drink, and the girl that you took out that night was a little looped and was disrespecting you.
No, ma'am.
That's what you say right here.
That's not the reason
Just a second. I'm going to read you exactly what you said here. And as a result of your bad temper and bad judgment and while I was smoking a cigarette, Emily disappeared again. I saw her hanging off a man who turned out to be the plaintiff. Emily had her body pressed to his, and it looked like they were kissing. Emily had been looking for trouble all night, and even though I didn't like the way she was treating me, I couldn't allow her to enter the club with another man. That's what you wrote. And then, of course, we have nothing about this sweeping motion in your answer. What you have here is, I looked at the plaintiff square in the face and told him to leave her alone. Instead, he told me to back off and shoved me. He then raised his fist as if to punch me. So I punched him before he could hit me. 3 other guys were coming towards me, so I ran away because I was terrified of being jumped.
Yes, ma'am, that's true. There were other men there.
You mean his gang?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You were drunk and you'd been dissed by your girlfriend and you used bad judgment. You took 6 weeks worth of anger management classes and kept your nose clean and your case got dismissed. That doesn't make you not guilty.
And later today,
there was money in the account up until October.
Money in what account?
In his current school's account where the payments were being drafted.
I don't care whether he had money in the Bahamas.
real cases, real people.
Mitchell Metcalf injured him when he punched him in the face during a night out.
Yeah, his gang was coming after you because you were beating up their leader.
No, ma'am. It didn't seem that way to me.
What?
He was beating up his leader.
What?
I love that. He was beating up his leader.
Mr. Miller may well be very capable of leading a gang.
You were drunk and you'd been dissed by your girlfriend and you used bad judgment. You took 6 weeks worth of anger management classes and kept your nose clean and your case got dismissed. That doesn't make you not guilty. Emily,
yes, ma'am.
You remember that evening?
I do.
You had a couple of drinks?
I did.
What were you bothering with this man for?
He was walking down the sidewalk and he looked really upset. So I asked him what was wrong and we just got to talking and then we ended up walking in the same direction because...
What did he say to you?
I really don't remember. He looked really upset. Like, he looked like he had been crying, honestly.
What were you upset about?
I really wasn't. I was just heading home.
What had you been doing that evening?
I had been down there to see this band. I'm a music journalist, and I was going to observe this band, and I had done that, and then I was going home.
Where are you a music journalist?
In Denton, Texas.
Do you write for a particular paper?
For about 8 years, I've done television shows where I interview local musicians and let them play about 4 songs. I was about to leave, and we crossed paths, and she said, come back into the club come into the club, whatever, something like that. She took my hand, and I reversed directions and started going. We held hands down to the corner. There was no pressing or anything like that. That's all there was she took my hand, we walked down to the corner, hesitated a few seconds, and then he popped me from behind. He had come up from behind me on that side, hit me. It sounded like thunder in my ear, and his fist is so big it cut my lip all the way through.
You have photographs, please? When was Mr. Metcalf arrested?
Well, she did stay and gave his contact information. He had taken off, and Cash basically saved my life. He's an emergency medical technician, and he stepped forward and he said, you need to put pressure on that because it was just squirting out with each heartbeat, you know. And I was in total shock. I just couldn't even believe it had happened.
Want to see the photographs, sir?
No, ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're finished.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The reason I did what I did is because I was fearing for the woman's safety.
He's just got some issues that he really should work on.
I couldn't allow her to enter that club with that man.
The guy had made her look bad. She was a very ladylike. Move forward.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Covarrubias versus Salinas. Step forward.
Maria Covarrubias is suing her son's ex-girlfriend, Christina Salinas, for car payments and parts. Christina's countersuing for the return of the vehicle.
So let me in broad strokes lay out what I think that this case is about. Your son, who is now incarcerated, was living for the last 5 years with the defendant and her children. Your son and the defendant have no children together. When they were together, your son had a car, and he purchased another car. And he purchased another car on which he took out a loan. He put the title to the car in his name or the defendant's, and he was paying the payment that was due on the car each month. Yes. So far, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Then he went to jail. And he went to jail in what month?
February of this year.
How much was the car payment each month?
It was about $200.
Not about.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What you're telling me is he had money in his checking account.
No, he prepaid it. It was in there to be taken out for the loan.
Nah, that's ridiculous. That's what you made up in your mind.
People, Judge Judy.
Maria Covarrubias is suing her son's ex-girlfriend, Christina Salinas, for car payments and parts. Christina's countersuing for the return of the vehicle.
Okay. Do you know how much the car payment was each month?
$218 per month.
And how much was left on the car?
On February, it was like $5,000.
And when he went to jail in February, you drove the car?
Yes.
And in March as well?
Yes.
And in April?
Yes.
Did you make a car payment? Answer my questions. Did you make a car payment in February?
No, I did not.
March?
No, I did not.
April?
No.
Well,
the reason I didn't make a car payment, sorry for interrupting, is because the car was paid up until October. There was money in the account up until October.
Money in what account?
In his current school's account where the payments were being drafted.
I don't care whether he had money in the Bahamas. If what you're telling me is he prepaid on the loan on the car until October, that's one thing. What you're telling me is he had money in his checking account.
No, he prepaid it. It was in there to be taken out for the loan.
Nah, that's ridiculous. That's what you made up in your mind. In any event, it wasn't intended for that because her son gave her, and what she did was, she said, you want the car? You want to drive in it? Pay for it.
She did not give me that option.
Well, that's unfortunate. She should have given you that option, but right now she paid for the car. She paid up the loan. It's her car.
It was a gift. It's
her car. It can't be a gift.
It was a gift. I have proof. It was a birthday gift.
Listen, I want you to listen to me carefully. If somebody buys you a Rolls Royce and makes a payment on it and then dies, you try telling Rolls Royce they can't have the car back because it was a gift.
No, and I completely understand that. I completely understand that. But the agreement before he went to prison for doing what he did to my family was that the car was paid up until October and I did not have a payment until October.
Show me something that says
all I have is his login.
No, show me something.
He let me login information for his account to log in to see when the payments were going to come out.
That's hearsay. All I want to see is a document from him, because now the car is in her possession. And if you're on good terms with him, it would have been very easy for you to get.
We're not on good terms for doing what he did.
Okay, so now you're not on good terms for doing what he did, but he still wants you to have the car.
That was what he said. Okay.
Anyway, you don't have the car anymore.
Judge sponsored by.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, let's get back to you. Car is not yours. Now the car is yours. Now, this is what your lawsuit is about. Your lawsuit says you want money owed for car payments. Take that up with your son. Car parts. What car parts?
The car was given to me from the repo company without the battery.
Which I paid for.
Just a second.
Without the manual.
Didn't come with the manual.
Only one key and no the controls either. Okay. Two of them.
Okay. Can I see the bill for the battery?
It's not highlighted, but it's Pep Boys. It's $106.38.
And when did you put it in?
The battery went bad in March, so I bought the battery in March.
March, after he was in jail. So you took back the battery that you put in?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Very good. You have the car now?
Yes.
Good. When did he give you the power of attorney?
March 18th,
okay,
2019.
We're done. That's all. Thank you.
All is excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It was my son's car.
She took the vehicle without permission.
She had it in the house.
It's not over. She's just trying to get money to pay for her son's lawyer for doing what he did.
I had
her getting power of attorney. She's made our lives a living hell.
They were nose to nose. I said, maybe the dog isn't that bad.
What kind of dog is it?
It was a Nikita.
The initial introduction was promising.
He asked you whether your dog was friendly.
No, I do not recall that at all.
What would you have said to him?
Yes, my dog is friendly.
He couldn't have been more wrong.
I've never seen a dog fight like that. He just latched on her throat.
The dog has the capacity to bite into flesh.
This is Judge Judy.
Jerome Bogart is suing 19-year-old Abby Miner for unpaid vet bills after her Akita attacked his golden doodle.
Order. All rise. It's case number 150 on the calendar in the matter of Bogart versus Miner.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome, Judge. You're absolutely welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Listen, Bert, this is not show and tell. Could you take that thing and take it off and put it someplace? Thank you very much. You're the boyfriend.
She has a boyfriend.
Who had the dog?
I had the dog.
And it's her dog.
Is my girlfriend's dog, yes.
You're the boyfriend. And Miss Miner wasn't with you at this event. It was a car event.
It was a car show, Your Honor.
I want you to listen to me. And I know now you're focused, right?
Yes.
I could tell you're focused. Now, while you were at the event, you had the dog, and it was a big dog. What kind of dog is it?
It was a Nikita.
Do you and Miss Miner live together?
No.
When had you taken the dog that day?
I grabbed the dog in the morning from her house, Your Honor.
Was that by prearrangement?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Where did he tell you he was going to take the dog?
The car show at Central Connecticut State University.
You've been together as a couple for how long?
3 years this July.
And how old is the Akita?
The Akita is currently 17 months old. At the time of the event, she was 14 months old.
And how old was she when you got her?
11 weeks.
You remember Mr. Bogart?
Yes, I do.
And he had his dog there at the show as well.
Yes, he did.
And his dog is a golden doodle.
I believe so.
Right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you recall Mr. Bogart when you first saw him with the dogs?
Yes, I do.
And he asked you whether your dog was friendly.
No, I do not recall that at all.
Let us assume that he did, for the purposes of this question, that he did ask you that question.
Okay.
What would you have said to him?
I would have said, yes, my dog is friendly.
And you had
not, Your Honor.
Never had any complaints about your dog?
No, not at the time of the event.
Let's go back. Have you ever had any complaints about your dog?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. And that complaint was by whom?
Jerome Bogart.
Other than him?
There was one other complaint.
That's what I'm talking about. When was that?
June 2019.
By whom?
Our neighbor.
You want to tell me the nature of that complaint?
My dog, Millie, was with my parents on that day. I was not there, so I'm not sure exactly what happened.
Just tell me what the complaint was.
She escaped from our car because the door was left open.
And?
She made her way over to their lawn where their 2 dogs were out. There was a fight.
And one of their dogs was injured?
Correct.
And this was in June of 2019. That was 2 months after this event.
Correct.
What happened as a result of that complaint?
Our dog was taken to the Stafford Animal Control, where she was quarantined and then released to us.
Did you pay the vet bills of your neighbor's dog?
We did, Your Honor.
How much?
$500.
So now, Miss Miner, we know that unprovoked...
I would say she was provoked that day.
Well, that's impossible because she was not under your parents' control. And according to you, she ran across. Your dog was taken into quarantine.
Because she was on their property.
Correct. She was not under their control. She entered onto their property, and...
There was a fight between the dogs.
Well, what did you think she ran over there for?
The dogs were barking at her once she got over there. I was not there, so I cannot say what happened.
Okay.
But from what I've heard.
Okay. So your dog was quarantined, not their dog, and you paid their vet bills of $500. Now we're going to get to this case. You weren't there either.
I was not.
You were.
I was.
Okay, Mr. Bogart. This happened in April.
Yes, Your Honor.
Time?
11:30,
Okay, and tell me when you first saw Miss Miner's dog.
Well, we had entered the area, parked our car, and we're walking around, looking at the different cars.
Is it an open-air place?
Yeah, it's mostly it's the parking lot.
So
it's all open.
Okay, so you're walking around.
Looking at the individual cars, and we cross paths with a lot of little kids and a lot of other dogs. And it's our practice, especially...
Don't tell me what your practice is. Just tell me what happened with the defendant's dog who was being cared for by her witness.
Okay, we were making a circle, and we approached Joseph Fonicello, I believe, and he had this Akita, and it was a big dog. And contrary to what was said earlier, I asked him, is your dog friendly? It could be a Chihuahua, it could be a St. Bernard. That's what we do. And he says, not really. And that's all they had to say. I gave him a wide berth, and we continued on looking at the show.
Could you go over there and show me where you were?
Excuse me, babe. We were in this general area. The prize table might have been up that way a little bit more, but we were here. There was a large crowd around us. We were all mixed in it, kids, mostly adults. And so they're calling out different cars to come and get the reward. So when it came to this award where this all happened, this incident, they had to call like 2 or 3 times. Nobody was responding. And eventually started coming, and I looked up to see who finally was. And I looked at this kid, and I said, oh, that's the dog. And I literally looked down. Sean was right next to me holding Skipper. It's a short leash. And
Sean is your son?
Sean is my son, right. And they were nose to nose. So I said, maybe the dog isn't that bad. And this is all split second. And next, his nose pulled up into that snarl. Looked like every bad movie you ever saw with a wolf. And he just latched on her nose, released the nose because everybody's trying to get her away, dropped down to her throat, finished on her right paw, and grabbed onto it. And it's, you know, I've never seen a dog fight like that. And the sound that was coming out of her mouth, she was pure pain. Okay. So, it was equivalent of a canine sucker punch. She never saw it coming.
May I see photographs of the dog and your vet bills, please?
Okay, there's the photos. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Now I'd like to hear your version of the events, please.
Okay. I had gone to the Central Connecticut car show.
You're there, and you're on your way up to get an award?
Yes, I was on my way up.
Okay, you're on your way up to get the award. And?
It was an award for Best Pet, which I believe was awarded because she was a well-behaved dog.
I don't care what you believe. What you believe is irrelevant to me.
Okay.
You were on your way up to get an award.
I was on my way up to receive a award.
And?
I had Millie hold it very tight, close to me, just because I know there's a big crowd. I don't want her to be roaming too far. And I have a photograph of how close I was holding her. Okay.
You were holding her very close to you.
Yes.
And?
I went up to approach the trophy stand, and standing right by the trophy stand, under it, I have a picture showing he was standing. Okay.
You were
I approached, and I received the trophy with my left hand. I had to look away for a second to grab the trophy, and I looked back, and his dog has stood up. Both dogs were in each other's faces, sniffing each other, and then out of nowhere, this dog fight ensued, and I pulled my dog away, and there was no efforts made in the other party to pull their dog off, so I pulled my dog away.
But you pulled the dog away.
Yes.
I'd like to see first picture of your dog, then pictures of the injuries to your dog, and then the vet bill to take. I'm not talking to you now. Now I'm talking to her. Do you understand my question? Get it out.
There were no injuries to our dog that we noticed.
There were no injuries to your dog, so you had no vet bill.
Correct.
Have you seen the injuries to Mr. Bogart's dog?
We saw one photograph.
Just send that over to her.
This is a photograph we did see.
I don't care which one you're... I'm showing them all to you because I've seen them all. So you should see them all. When fact finder sees a piece of evidence, you should see it. Do you understand?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, Miss Minor, you weren't there on either of these 2 occasions.
Correct.
You don't have to say I'm correct. I know I'm correct. That's what you told me, and I believe you. But you now have 2 instances where your very large dog has attacked other dogs. You now have 2 instances where your dog has been both accused and, as far as the authorities were concerned, your dog the aggressor when they took your dog into quarantine. And you acknowledged responsibility by paying for the vet bills for your neighbor's dog. Now you have a second experience where your dog, who was still a puppy, has caused serious injury to another dog. Now, it could just as easily have been a 3-year-old child. I'm just telling you, there is a certain quality in some dogs, and I've had dogs all of my life. I've had dogs that little ones, so they can't do this kind of damage. But I have dogs that wouldn't even know how to bite. When a dog bites, because now you have a dog as a young woman that you know can cause serious physical injury to another living thing. I want you to be aware of that. Now, It may be that when your dog goes out, it has to be muzzled. That may be. But I want you to keep that in mind, because now 10 million people know that you have a dog and you're on notice that that dog is potentially dangerous.
We have evidence that his dog is aggressive too, Your Honor.
I'd like to see it. What are you showing me? The dog barking at noise in his own house?
He's growling and barking at a photo of a dog. Never mind if he was to see a real dog in real life. And if you skip to the end, you'll notice him encouraging the behavior at the 53rd second. I just don't want him to play innocent.
What I'm telling you is you are on notice that you have a very large dog, an Akita.
It's 73 pounds.
Just a second. Okay, listen. You're a young woman, you have a boyfriend, you have a very young dog. Maybe in 5 years from now, you'll have a very young child. And I'm telling you, you are on notice that your dog has the capacity to bite into flesh on more than one occasion. I have dogs. A lot of people have dogs. Some nip, some don't. Yours does. And it's not a nip. It can take a life. You're on notice. You owe him his vet bills, $411.
He brought
Judgment
his
for the
dog.
plaintiff. We're done.
Can I just see what that evidence was that she presented upon my dog?
Yeah. Well, what she did, let me tell you what, I'm speaking and you're not paying attention.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Somebody posted a picture of your dog looking at another dog and barking at it.
Your Honor.
Okay, I'm speaking.
He encouraged the behavior in the video.
Sit down. You're as dumb as she is.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jerome Bogart says an Akita owned by Abby Minor attacked his golden doodle at a car show.
Your dog has the capacity and has demonstrated it to you twice that it can bite into flesh, which means it's potentially dangerous. And you have 2 instances of it. So you take that information, and if you choose to be dumb and stupid with it, be dumb and stupid. It may happen again. You may get lucky, maybe not. But they call it an animal, sort of a wild animal, especially an Akita, which is really very close to a wolf. You're on notice that that's a potential. Now, what she showed me, sir, is evidently somebody in your family who posted a picture of your dog looking at a television screen of another dog and barking at it. I'm speaking.
He encouraged the behavior in the video.
Sit down. You're as dumb as she is.
Yeah, Jesus.
I have a dog, a Shih Tzu. She weighs 5 pounds. When another dog comes on the TV, she barks at the dog. We think it's funny. We actually think it's, oh, woof, 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 woof. Never bit any, but we think it's true. He evidently posted it, thought it was funny. You found it as an excuse. The dog has the capacity to hurt, to bite into flesh, and not feel sorry. What I'm telling you is, you're on notice. Goodbye.
I believe...
Goodbye. I don't care what
Your
you
Honor,
believe.
on that
I don't
day-
care. Listen to me. I don't care what you believe. You weren't there. I take everything that you say to me as truthful, that your dog twice bit. Once you acknowledged fault for. Once the authorities told you you were at fault for. Quarantined your dog. You paid the vet bill. What I'm telling you is those are 2 instances that I know about. Don't tell me about his dog. Don't tell me about what you believe. Don't tell. I'm not interested.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
You still owe me $1,100 for a car that you say you drove and junked. That doesn't mean you don't owe her for the car anymore. Your problems can't be visited on her.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jerome Bogart says an Akita owned by Abby Minor attacked his golden doodle at a car show.
I'm just telling you, you're a dog owner. You have no factual information for me, in this case, other than for me to tell you, you're on notice that your dog has the potential to be vicious. Your choice. Walk it with a muzzle, keep it away from small children and other dogs, or you're going to find yourself here more often. Goodbye.
On
Say
that day,
goodbye.
Your Honor.
Just a minute. Would you
He
do me a
knew.
favor? Would you do me a favor?
Sure.
I want you to say goodbye to her. She clearly didn't understand it.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I heard that it was an equal fight. Both dogs were the same size.
I'm a veteran. I've been in combat. Granted, it's not somebody who was injured.
It could have gone either way. He brought his dog onto public property.
I've never heard a sound come out of an animal like that.
He should have known that there was a chance that his dog would have gotten into a fight with another dog.
I'm just glad. It's terrific. She's recovered.
It's a dog-eat-dog world.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Harrington versus Johnson, step forward.
Lynn Harrington is suing her former co-worker, September Johnson, for the unpaid balance on a Cadillac she sold her.
Miss Johnson, you and Miss Harrington worked together. Where did you work together?
Lunds and Barley's.
And Miss Harrington was selling a car. You wanted to buy the car. The two of you agreed on a price of $1,500, and that was in August of last year.
Correct.
So far, of the $1,500, you gave her $400. That's according to both of you. That's all you paid her. You gave her $200 down, and then you paid her $100, and then another $100. And then you stopped paying her. Why?
Well, me and my family, I have 5 children and a husband. We went through some hard times, and we ended up in a shelter. And so at the shelter, they charged us every night, so my check was actually getting taken, and they were
Why don't you just give her back the car?
Hmm?
Why didn't you just give her back the car if you couldn't pay for it?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow
The car if you couldn't pay for it.
Because she said she would work with me on a payment plan, and she knew I was in the homeless shelter, so she
Well,
agreed.
what do you think she's doing here? She's here because you owe her $1,100 for a car.
We worked together for like 6 months, so I always was with her. So we talked about it at work. Like, we had verbal agreements. Like, she knew that I couldn't pay her $200
Don't tell me what
every
you knew
2
then.
weeks.
Right now, she's here a year later, and she says, you still owe me $1,100 for a car that you say you eventually drove and junked. That doesn't mean you don't owe her for the car anymore. Your problems can't be visited on her.
Yeah, I understand that, but then at the same time, I don't feel like she should have told me she would work with me on the money.
Okay. All right, I
if
can't
that was
deal
the
with this
case.
anymore. All right. What you feel is irrelevant. You owe her $1,100 for the car. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you. We're
She
finished.
can talk.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy...
I did ask September for the car back a number of times if she couldn't pay me.
I agreed to pay her $1,500.
And nothing ever happened. I do believe she owes me the money.
And then as time went on, we just verbally worked, like...
I gave him a lot of time. In February, I sent a text.
She knew that we were verbally working it out, so...
Asking again what her intentions were, and I never heard anything back. They apparently did not change the title when she told me she did.
Yeah, she said she wanted the tickets paid because it was in her name, so she needed them out.
And so in the meantime, they'd gotten tickets, and they came to me because the title was not changed.
Because everybody has hard times, and, you know, I feel like if you just...
I need to just say this is how it's going to be and be done with it.
If you approach the person and you say, hey, this is a hard time, and they say, hey, yeah, I understand, we could do this, you know.
Not to work with family or friends or co-workers.
Lesson learned.
The ex-con.
I was incarcerated from 2008 to 2018.
And the prison guard who fell for him.
You met Mr. Cortez while he was serving a prison sentence and where you were a corrections officer.
That is correct.
But doing more time together was a mistake.
He was mad that I was telling him that he needed to leave.
He pushed you. You fell backwards.
She was arguing with me. She put her hands on me.
He has an aggressive side.
This is Judge Judy. Terry Carlson is suing her ex-boyfriend, Fidencio Cortez, for several unpaid loans, unpaid rent, and an assault.
Order. All rise. It's case number 128 on the calendar. The matter has been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
Ms. Carlson, it is your claim that the defendant who was living with you for a period of time owes you for some loans, rent, and an assault.
Yes.
In which you were injured.
Yes.
According to you. Mr. Cortez says that there was never a loan agreement between you for any of the things that you did for him, and that you actually were the initiator of any arguments that occurred between you. Okay. Now, you were a corrections officer, and you met Mr. Cortez while he was serving a prison sentence in the prison where you were a corrections officer.
Yes.
And you indicate that you left that job because you didn't want to have any conflict.
Correct.
In what year did you leave that job?
April of 2015.
And Mr. Cortez, from what year to what year were you incarcerated?
I was incarcerated from 2008 to 2018, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, at some point after you were released, you and Ms. Carlson got in touch with each other again. There was also a point where you were living with her. Tell me when that was.
2018.
What month?
July.
And did you sign a lease?
We signed a lease in 2019 of January.
And when did you move out?
May.
When you say May, you said that quizzically. Did you move out in May?
Your Honor, I didn't move out. She called the law enforcement on me, and I got kicked out. Basically, I got booted out of my own residence.
Called the police that time. I actually went to the emergency room, and then he had moved his stuff out. I only got the protection order when for the next 2 weeks, even though his stuff wasn't there, he would pop in whenever he wanted to, all hours of the night.
Okay, so that May he was finally out.
May he was finally out.
Your Honor, but
Now,
it's my residence.
Just a second.
I can do what I please.
Well, Mr. Cortez, you can't actually have it both ways. If you're not paying rent there, it's not your residence.
You're only seeing what you want to see, Your Honor.
What?
I know facts. You know, I'm sorry that I didn't bring any.
What I'm saying to you, sir, is if someplace is your residence because you're on a lease and you live there, you also pay rent there.
Yeah, but I can go stay at my friend's house and come back. That doesn't matter.
Well,
I can do as I please.
Well, you can, and I know that it's probably after 10 years, that's very nice. But Miss Carlson has herself, and I think she has a child that lives with her. Is that right?
She has two.
How old is her child?
She's got an 8-year-old and a 16.
Do they both live with her?
Yes, Your Honor.
It is unreasonable, Mr. Cortez. Miss Carlson has clearly made a couple of errors in judgment, but it's unreasonable to subject children who are 8 and 16 to adults' unreasonable judgment.
All right.
Okay? But it would be almost a neglect if Miss Carlson didn't try to, whoever precipitated it, because you're not going to take charge of her children. She has to be with her kids.
So
do you understand that?
Can I ask you to answer me a question, Your Honor?
No,
and why didn't she move to one of her family members? I live 2.5 hours away from my family. She had family, friends and everybody that she could have just gone to, and instead she wants to kick me out on the streets? You know what I'm saying? She could have chose to get up and leave. That was my apartment.
Well, that's your perspective, Mr. Cortez. I don't have to answer your question, but I just want you to try to think about it for a little bit and think about the fact that you have an 8-year-old and a 16-year-old who go to school and have roots in a place for 5-6 months, and you're a single adult who can much easier negotiate a move than 3 people if you're not getting along. In any event, I don't have to get involved with that. I want to hear about this money that you allegedly gave him, when it was, and what it was for, and then I'll hear about the assault.
Okay. So in August of 2018, Mr. Cortez had a ticket of $700 that had accrued while he was incarcerated.
Were you living together at the time?
We weren't. We were reestablishing our relationship.
But you weren't living together?
No.
Okay.
So we went to the courthouse to pay that money. They said it had to be cash and asked me to go to the ATM, which I did. I had already had some money on me, so I only withdrew $200, but brought the money back, and he promised to pay it back when he got on his feet. That was in order to get him a license so he could go to work.
Okay, so in total, how much money did you give him?
That time was $700 for his ticket.
Okay. Now, what kind of ticket did you get, Mr. Cortez?
It was a speeding ticket that...
How long ago, before you were in prison?
It was 2007 when I got that speeding ticket, but being incarcerated for as long as I was.
Got it. Okay. Now, is it true that Ms. Carlson paid the ticket and fine of $700 for you?
No, Your Honor.
How much did she pay?
I recall that she only paid me, she offered to pay it because she knew I wanted to go.
I didn't ask you.
Hey, wait,
I didn't ask
what do
you.
you mean?
I didn't ask you
Hold up.
anything other than a number.
You don't need to get all rowdy with me.
Just a second.
Just calm
I
down.
didn't. Don't tell me how to do my job.
And don't talk to me
I don't tell you how to do your job for which you spent the last 10 years in prison. Don't tell me how to do my job.
That's it. That's all I'm asking
Now,
is for some respect.
All I asked you was for a number.
500.
Great. So she gave you $500 towards a ticket and a fine.
Your Honor.
So you have proof of 7?
I had 500 on me. I have proof that I withdrew 200 more at the ATM next door.
Okay. Thing that you did. The fine is a fine that was a punishment for speeding. Somebody else can't pay that for you because that would be like having somebody else do jail time for you. We don't do that here. We don't say, well, if you're a poor person, then, you know, we'll pay you $5,000. I've got 18 months that I have to serve. You go serve my time for me. That was your punishment. The ticket and fine are your punishment. So if you have proof of $500, he says it was $500. That's what it is. And that was before you were living together.
Yes.
Okay. Now, are you and your 2 children still living in the apartment?
We are.
Okay. And do you intend to stay there?
I have to. I don't have the money to move.
Very good. So you're going to stay there. And you don't want him to live with you?
No.
Okay. So forget about rent and forget about breaking a lease. You're still living there.
I wouldn't go there.
Now, I'm speaking. Now, let's talk about the assault that you say was in April of 2016. Okay. First, I'd like to take a look at the medical record that you have.
Here's this. The pictures are with the court paperwork, but it's what the hospital took.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like you to tell me your...
Had been coming home whenever he wanted to, leave all hours of the night to go be with his friends whenever they called. So he was rarely home, and he wouldn't answer phone calls or anything. So we got into a fight when he came home, and I took
What time?
It was early evening.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, so you were mad?
I was mad.
Okay, got it. You were mad.
And I started to take all his stuff out of the room and throw it out into the hallway, and I told him that I would pack it for him, that he obviously didn't want to be there.
Okay, so you took his stuff. You were very angry. You threw his stuff out in the hallway, and...
So I went into the bathroom to grab a couple more things when he followed me, and he stood in the doorway of the bathroom. I asked him to move. He wanted to talk it out. I tried to squeeze past him.
How did you try to squeeze past him?
There was a gap between his body and the door frame, and so I tried to go under his arm and out the bathroom. And before I even knew it, both of his hands hit my chest, knocked me off my feet. I fell 3 feet backwards into the corner of the wall, slamming my head. This fight was actually, the assault happened at 1 in the morning.
Just a second. Let's go back. He came home in the early evening. You had a verbal argument.
Correct.
And during that verbal argument, was that when you threw his stuff out in the hall?
That's when I started doing it, yes.
Did he leave?
He took off for a couple hours.
Smart. And then?
He came back.
Where were all your clothes?
Everywhere. They were inside, outside. They were just everywhere.
Your Honor, there was nothing outside. It was all in the hallway of my apartment in front of our other bathroom. Nothing was outside.
And so he came home at midnight, and?
We still fought. He was mad that his things were out there. He was mad that I was telling him that he needed to leave. We started yelling at each other, and that's when he followed me to the bathroom. I tried to squeeze past him. That's when his hands hit my chest.
What do you mean his hands took your chest? What does that mean?
I must have blinked because I didn't even see him coming at me. And the next thing I know, both of his hands.
And he pushed you, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, he pushed me.
What you're telling me is he pushed you.
Yes.
And you fell backwards.
3 feet and hit my
Just
my
a
head.
second.
Yes.
He pushed you.
Yes.
You fell backwards and hit your head.
Yes.
That's the assault that we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. You want to give me your version, Mr. Cortez, of that evening?
I came home that evening. She was upset that I was going out with my friends. Coming and going as I pleased. She felt that I should spend a little time that I did have when I wasn't working with her. And in a way, she's, you know, I agree with her, but I chose to do it with my friends. And this time I came home and she kind of like was a little bit more aggressive with it. And a lot of people don't think is that she used to be a CO. She took defense coordination classes.
Listen to me.
And
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Based upon what you just said to me, that you were in another county incarcerated, Mr. Cortez, just some motherly advice, sir.
Let me hear it.
You would have been much better off staying home with her than you would have been hanging around with your friends.
I believe that. Honestly, I believe that.
Real Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Terry Carlson says ex-boyfriend Fidencio Cortez owes for loans, rent, and an assault.
Just tell me what happened.
She was arguing with me. She put her hands on me.
How did she put her hands on you?
She was pushing me, trying to tell me to get out of her way. And I said, you know what? I said, this is some...
Get out of her way. Just, let's go back. I'm really trying...
Because she wanted to keep on grabbing my stuff out of the bathroom. She wanted to keep on grabbing more stuff and throwing the stuff out.
Out of the bathroom?
Yeah, and I wasn't going for it.
Okay, so you were standing in the doorway...
Just to be... Just...
blocking her from moving out. Now, when you say she put her hands on you, I want to know exactly how that happened, because now I understand that you pushed her and she fell backwards.
Yes.
Okay, but I want you to tell me whether or not the plaintiff put her hands on you first.
Yes, she did, Your Honor.
I'd like you to tell me how she...
And she was trying to push me out of the way, putting her hands on my chest. And I stood my ground, and she kept on
pushed her back.
And I pushed her back.
Wait, is that what you're telling me, that you pushed her back?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that what you're telling me honestly?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get a restraining order?
I did.
How long is it in effect for?
1 year.
Did you go to that hearing, Mr. Cortez? Did you attend that hearing?
I didn't.
Did not?
I was already incarcerated for something else, Your Honor.
Are you telling me that you couldn't attend the hearing for the protective order because you were incarcerated for...
At the time, I was in another county and they don't transport. So since I've been released, yes, I have gone and signed the protection order. Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cortez, just some motherly advice, sir.
Let me hear it.
You would have been much better off staying home with her than you would have been hanging around with your friends.
I believe that. I honestly believe that.
What I'm telling you is, based upon what you just said to me, that you were in another county incarcerated, you would have been better off saying, well, you know, not a bad thing. She's a nice lady. She's got 2 nice kids. She has a job. Maybe I'll start over again with...
I ruined that.
Yeah.
I ruined that, you know, so
yeah.
I gotta live with my consequences.
That would be on you. In any event, you owe her the $500, which you acknowledge that she paid for your fine. Now, I am not giving the plaintiff a pass on taking your stuff and vandalizing your property, so you should know a little bit about the law. Yes. You see someone vandalizing your property, you have the right to try to stop them.
Right, but
and use just
causing damage.
Just a second.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Well, if you weren't in a relationship and you had been paying $450 a month rent, and the story that you just gave me is that your roommate left drug paraphernalia out and you got evicted, well, then you didn't pay anybody rent. Why should she pay your rent?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Terry Carlson says ex-boyfriend Fidencio Cortez owes for loans, rent, and an assault.
You have the right to try to stop them. You were vandalizing his property. Now, if you were vandalizing his property and he took out a knife and he stabbed you, he can't do that. That's an overkill. But he can try to stop you from continuing to vandalize his property. And the fact that he pushed you and you fell and you hurt your head, I see that your Medicaid covered all of your expenses, so you didn't have any expenses. You also exercised not such good judgment because Mr. Cortez, who turns out to be mild-mannered once he takes a deep breath, I mean, he's mild-mannered with me, but he has an aggressive side. On the 16th of April, to know his aggressive side, because you got into a fight and he took 2 hours and left to cool off, which was very good judgment.
Thank you.
I would have stayed out permanently because you weren't ready to be a family guy.
It's true.
Got it? You owe a $500 judgment
Your Honor,
for the plaintiff.
I have rent that I paid for 6 months.
We're done.
Parties are excused. They step out.
I think that when she was a CO, she was...
I was trying to help him out get on his feet because we had waited 3 years to be together.
In a power of authority over me at the time. And
you know, I loved him. We fell in love.
She's trying to still have that role in my life, and I ain't having it.
He just turned out to be somebody that I thought he was different.
Hey, sometimes you just have to lose. You gotta lose it, man. You gotta let him go.
I feel like I was really used.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Ross versus Fullerton. Step forward.
21-year-old Moira Ross is suing her ex-boyfriend, 22-year-old Duncan Fullerton, for rent and utilities and a loan.
Miss Ross, the defendant is your ex-boyfriend.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you claim he owes you some money.
A little bit.
You and the defendant lived together for a little bit because you got evicted from your apartment?
Yes, Your Honor.
In what month year?
Yes.
And why were you evicted? For non-payment of rent?
No.
Why?
My roommate left some non-legal property on my patio, and the tenants actually informed me they were coming to show the other room that was empty at the time, so I said, no problem, you know, feel free to go into there, and it was on the patio. He just left it out in plain sight, so I got a 24-hour notice.
And is that when you moved in with Miss Ross?
I want to say it was a couple days after that, yes.
How long had you been dating?
We never actually were dating.
Well,
it never became a relationship. It was never defined as a relationship.
It wasn't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's interesting. How much were you paying in rent in the other place?
$450.
How long did you live at Miss Ross's place?
I want to say total what I slept there was 14 days.
From when to when?
So that would probably be January 12th about, and I moved out by February, mid-February, probably the 15th.
Okay, so you were there in January?
Yes.
And you were there part of February?
Very early February, yes.
And you were paying $450 a month rent in your old place?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were not in a relationship, according to you, with her?
No, Your Honor.
Then you should have to pay her rent.
Yeah, if I
Just a second.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You just told me that you lived there. That's a month.
I wasn't a resident. I wasn't on the lease.
I don't care whether you were a resident or on the lease. Listen to me. If you were in a relationship and you moved in with your girlfriend for a month, I would say, listen, I don't deal with that. But you're the one who said to me we weren't in a relationship.
That's different.
Well, if you weren't in a relationship and you had been paying $450 a month rent, and the story that you just gave me is that your roommate left drug paraphernalia out and you got evicted, well, then you didn't pay anybody rent. Why should she pay your rent?
I didn't say she should pay my rent.
What?
I never said she should pay my rent.
Well, but you didn't pay rent when you were there.
I shouldn't have to pay rent for 14 days of someone helping me out and them taking advantage of me.
What's next?
What's next is that he stayed there. I asked him if he wanted to contribute to rent because for the first week or so I said, you can stay here, but you've got to pay rent.
That's not true, Your Honor.
I don't want to hear you interrupt her again. Do you understand? Try
Yes,
to
Your Honor.
control yourself.
So I have it here where he said that he would pay rent.
How much is your rent?
It was $850 and $280 would have been his third. The bottom texts are there. I asked him how much he wanted to pay in rent.
$280.
Yes.
That's what you said.
That's what I said, yes.
Yes, $280. Okay, very good. What else, Miss Ross, in
He
this
owes me
non-relationship?
he'd pawned his phone and I paid for the payment in order to get that back to him, which was $100.
Why?
I paid her cat's vet bill and she felt bad and was doing me a favor.
Okay, tell me what she felt. Did he pay a vet bill for your cat?
Yes.
Great. He owes you $280 for rent. That's what he agreed to. Judge for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'd given him notices in order to get it paid, and he kept saying he would get it paid, and he never did, and kept making excuses.
Because I promised her a lot of things, that is true, but she also promised me a lot of things.
Because he said that he seemed to be in a hard place, and I wanted to help him out.
And we were both upset at each other, but I let it go, she didn't. That's the difference.
But, you know, eventually it stopped being helping and started being abusing.
I should have paid the rent, and that's all it should have been. It shouldn't have been over all this extra.
I was basically his mother and taking care of him.
I just think it was complete junk that she was trying to throw in there.
And doing everything for him, and I still didn't get what I was owed.
What was the fight about?
It was because I didn't know about him going back and forth between me
and his girlfriend.
Yes, correct.
Her revenge wasn't a good look.
Look at that changing color. That is so beautiful.
Then did naked aggression take over?
So when he broke down the door, what happened?
I tried to stop him from getting in. That's when he took my head and slammed it against the wall.
This Junior is suing his ex-girlfriend, Princess Paines, for bleaching all of his clothes after they broke up.
Order. All rise. It's case number 116 on the calendar in the matter of Lewis versus Paines.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Mr. Lewis, what kind of work do you do?
Right now, I work for a moving company. I'm a mover.
How long have you been working for the company?
For the company, I've been doing it for a couple months. But before then, I worked for Comcast. I did retention for them.
And how long did you work for Comcast?
4 years.
Why did you leave?
I got hurt, fell on my hip, injured my hip. In Minnesota winter, I fell outside on the concrete and had some surgeries. And I just couldn't sit down no more at my desk. So.
Moving is easier?
No, that was 3 years ago. That was like about 3 years ago.
Well, what have you been doing from the time that you worked for Comcast until you got this job moving 2 months ago?
After I had my hip?
Is the answer nothing?
Nothing. I broke my ankle right after, like 4 months after, and I was recovering and rehabbing. I finally got rehabbed enough to where I can work, and now I've been working.
So you hadn't been working for 3 years?
2.5 years.
Okay. Now, you and the defendant were boyfriend and girlfriend during that period, and you have a child. You weren't living together. Who were you living with?
I was living there. All my items were there.
That's not exactly what you say, sir, in your complaint, that you were living there. That's not at all what you say. So you have to get it together. Were you living at the defendant's house?
At the time, yes. At that specific time,
I didn't ask you whether you were sleeping there. We're talking about in the month of April of this year. We're not talking about so long ago. Where were you living? Where did you get mail?
Mail was at my mom's house.
Okay, so you were recuperating for 2.5 years from all of your accidents and living at your mother's house?
No, ma'am. What happened for the years, I have insurance, so my insurance gave me my lost wages, and I was able to pay my bills, and I had my own place. I had my place with me and her. We had broken up for a brief instance.
Okay.
And then
I'm getting the story.
Yes.
So, could you sit up straight? Thank you. So you were living with a girlfriend and paying your bills. This is your girlfriend.
Yes, ma'am.
And did you and the defendant ever live together?
I was living there for a month. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
In what month?
From mid-April until my mom moved into the house. I helped my mom buy a house. So I was staying with her until the house closed and everything. So that's also, I was there most of the time.
For a month, child together.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you tell her, by the way, that you were just using her as a stopover until your mother got her house?
No, actually, she offered me to keep my stuff because she knew about my mom buying the house.
So you told her about it?
So she knew about us being there. It was really, she offered me to be there.
Don't tell me what she knew.
I'm sorry.
Just tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Whether you told her about using her as a stopover. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So you knew in between his girlfriend and buying a house with his mother, he was staying at your house.
Yeah, him buying the house with his mom.
Yes, I got it. Okay. Now, it is your claim, sir, that you had a fight on May 18th. And as a result of that fight, Miss Paynes destroyed some of your property. You have a video of that. See, I'm clever. The video is there that she poured bleach on your clothes.
Yeah, that's just some of the stuff. Yes, ma'am.
And Miss Payne denies that.
Yes, and I even have her admitting it on Facebook.
Okay.
Which she did.
Well, I would love to see the video first.
Yes, ma'am.
The video. And then you can tell me what the fight was about briefly.
So I am live right now. This is actually like my first time being live. This is crazy. But I'm live right now, and I'm actually doing this. So keep testing me, thinking the game, talking a whole bunch. When the bum got all his in my crib, though, all his in my crib. But you're talking bum. Don't have nowhere to go. Live with his mommy again. He's a bum. Okay, so if you want to keep on talking, if you want to keep lying. Hold on. Just hit right here. Just right here. He got a lot of right here. Hold on. Jeans. I washed. All right.
Pour that bleach on you. Thank you.
What did you say? That's bleach.
Thank you for destroying my stuff.
Hold on. He got more. You want it? Just cut up the underwears because. Look at that changing color. That's so pretty. Look at that changing color. That is so beautiful. Yes. Yeah, talk that. See that? Yeah, that was his.
Okay, got enough. Well, that clearly shows you bleaching his clothes.
Yes.
Yes. Good. That's it.
No, ma'am.
You're requesting $4,000 to replace the clothes.
Yes, ma'am. Those are just the clothes that she destroyed on live. She has a basement. All my stuff was stored in there, like a little storage area, and she destroyed all that, too.
What was there?
It got warmer, so I have all my warm clothes, my winter clothes, like all my jeans, and I had them all stored in there because I was set to move pretty much a couple days after. So
I got it.
Yes, ma'am.
I got it.
And that's including all my shoes,
Okay,
all
now
my
let's
Jordans.
get to the counterclaim.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a counterclaim because you say he broke the door to your house trying to get in.
Yep, the front door.
On what date?
This happened, I believe, May 18th.
On the same date as you bleached the clothes?
The same date.
All right. Well, let's hear how that happened.
Him and I, we've been going back and forth, back and forth.
I got it.
Okay, so I offered him to get his things, come and get it. He wanted to get on his own time to be controlling. He's a very controlling man. She knows it.
Just a second. Listen, you picked him to have a child with. That's the connection you have together.
That's very true.
Well, you picked him to have a child with. So if he's controlling, should have known that. I want to know what the fight was about.
It was because I didn't know about him going back and forth between me
and his girlfriend.
Yes, correct.
Okay, that sounds right.
Okay.
And what time of the day did that happen on May 18th?
This was in the morning.
Did he leave?
Yeah, he was, I believe.
Communicate with him?
By text. So I texted him, I told him I would like all his things out of the house. He said he'll be on his way to get it, put his things outside the house. When he came, he had no reason to break down my door to get to me. He had no reason to get back into the house. The pants he claims he had downstairs in the basement, nowhere to be found.
Is what you're telling me you put all of his things outside? Is that what you're telling me?
In buckets.
Just a second.
In the rain.
And then, and then you went outside and brought them all back inside and put them in the bathtub?
No, he had a few items, which...
I saw what was in the bathtub.
Yeah.
I want to know, first you say you put all the stuff outside. And what I want to know is, at some point you must have gone outside to bring all the stuff inside, because that's what I saw along with Officer Byrd on the video.
Right.
So is that what you want this face to believe? That you threw out a bathtub full of stuff, and then at some point you went outside and brought it all back inside and bleached it? Is that what you want this face to believe?
I didn't bring it all back inside to bleach it.
You left some of it outside?
Most of it was outside. The clothes that I bleached were clothes that I did not bring outside. I forgot about those.
Okay, let's get to your counterclaim. So far, you owe him $4,000 for bleaching all of his clothes. He came into the house, and you say he broke the door. What time?
I want to say 10.
In the morning or at night?
In the morning, 10 a.m.
Had you already bleached his clothes?
No.
So when he broke down the door, what happened?
I tried to stop him from getting in. That's when he took my head and slammed it against the wall. Didn't even know he was a violent man until that happened. He's never put his hands on me before.
And?
And so my roommate was there. She tried to pull him off. It's my roommate. He choked her to get her off of him and continued. He grabbed me like this to where I couldn't even breathe. We had 3 other people that were there that had to pull him off, and he finally left.
He left without taking anything?
He took the stuff that was outside.
Okay, and that's 10 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
What happened next?
When this was happening, my son was in the car. My son was in the car by himself.
Just a second. So Mr. Lewis had the boy?
Yep.
When had he gone with his father?
The day before. I let him see his dad.
You don't let him see his child. You don't let him see his child. He lets you see the child. Doesn't that sound stupid when you say that to a parent? He lets you see him. Well, that's ridiculous, right? It's his child. And he was with his father, evidently for the weekend. And if this was on the 18th and he was with his father the day before, you then had friends over.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you thinking about? What are you trying to overthink it? Don't overthink it. If you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. Now, do you have any proof of the broken door?
I have a picture of it.
I'd like to see it. Do you have an invoice to fix it? No. Did you fix it? Do you have an estimate?
No.
Do you have any proof of injury that you sustained as a result of this alleged assault?
I do.
Do you have photographs? Do you have a medical bill? Do you have Well, I assume you did not go to the hospital or a doctor, correct?
No, I did not go to the hospital.
Did you take any photographs of any injury?
No, but I did take some photos of when he destroyed the car, too.
When he's destroyed the what?
The car. Either him or his girlfriend came back and slashed tires. They thought it was my car.
That's not part of this lawsuit.
Okay.
And if his girlfriend, then you have to file a case against his girlfriend.
Oh, it was him or her.
Well,
it was between those two. We don't know.
Well, who knows? I don't know. If you don't know, then you have no proof who it was.
Continues in a moment.
We all get along. We was to the point where they knew I was in with both of them let on at the same time.
Listen to me.
They were both my girlfriends.
Listen to me. Listen to me. You're not such a prize. You haven't had a steady job in 2.5 years, right? There's not a prize package about you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Pierre Lewis Jr. says ex-girlfriend Princess Paines bleached all his clothes after they broke up. Princess is countersuing for destruction of property, assault, and for keeping their son without permission.
Okay, and the next part that you have is keeping son without permission. He doesn't need your permission to keep his son. I suggest that you get a court order for whatever custody arrangement that you have, sir.
I have
stop
full-
smiling.
We have joint custody.
No, I have full legal custody. We just recently went to court, and that was
Just a second. You have legal custody. Do you have joint physical custody?
No.
Okay. What time do you get with your son?
We have joint custody. We didn't have a parenting time established because I didn't want to have a set schedule, and we had a pretty good schedule.
Until when?
Until this.
Until May.
Until May.
Well, that's 2 months ago. So has it been 2 months since you've had any time with your son?
Yep. Since the actually, they attacked me. I have you know what I'm saying? Like, her dates is off. I didn't have my son for the weekend. Her mom has her son every weekend. So when this happened was on Sunday, I didn't have him. The incident when she destroyed my stuff, she's talking about days later when she picked them up on Tuesday. The father Sunday.
You should never send your girlfriend to pick up your child from your ex-girlfriend.
We had a thing to where it wasn't anything. I wasn't hiding anything.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
They were both my girlfriends.
Listen to me. Listen to me. You're not such a prize. You haven't had a steady job in 2.5 years, right? There's not a prize package about you. Believe me, there's not a prize package about you. I'm just suggesting to you, Mr. Lewis, put your hand down.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not a smart thing to send your girlfriend to your ex-girlfriend's house to pick up your child. That's not smart.
Actually, in this situation, no, they get along more than I get along with them. We all get along. We was to the point where they knew I was in with both of them let on at the same time. I wasn't hiding anything or something like that.
Thank you.
I wasn't hiding
for the plaintiff
anything.
for his clothes, $4,000. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done here.
Funds are excused. You may step out.
Oh man, because I cut her out.
This man is crazy.
Cut her out of us. So that's all.
He doesn't take care of none of his kids.
She just in her feelings because nobody want to mess with her anymore. So that's all. Good dad without the courts, but it's obvious.
I hope he leaves me alone, get his life together. I hope he gets a job.
Women don't know how to act, so I have to take her to court to see my child.
And help with child support.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Amos versus Patterson. Step forward.
19-year-old Michaela Amos is suing 20-year-old Ryan Patterson for selling her a car with a lien on it.
Mr. Patterson, what kind of car do you drive?
I drive a...
Look at me. What kind of a car do you drive?
I drive a black Ford Fusion.
What year?
2006.
Is that the car that you sold the plaintiff?
No, ma'am.
That's another car.
Yes, correct.
When did you get that car?
I got that car a few months ago.
Month?
A few months ago.
What month?
It was late May.
Who did you buy it from?
I bought it from a private party.
How much did you pay for it?
I paid around $1,300 for it.
Did you have a title?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you register the car in your name?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you buy the car that you sold to the plaintiff?
I bought that car in early September.
Of what year?
Of 2018.
Where did you buy it from?
I bought it from another private dealer.
Private person?
Yes, ma'am.
How much did you pay for it?
$2,500.
Did you take out a title loan on that car?
Yes, ma'am. I took 2 out.
Shh.
Judge.
For the car. So he sold it to the plaintiff. She opens up. She looks out her window. Car is gone. Slick. Nasty and slick.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
19-year-old Michaela Amos is suing 20-year-old Ryan Patterson for selling her a car with a lien on it.
Now, you took out title loans when on the car?
I took a title loan out in the month of January.
How much?
I took out $900.
When was the second title loan you took out on the car?
The second title loan I took out on the car was in February.
How much did you take out then?
$1,300.
So almost what you paid for the car.
Yes, ma'am.
$1,300? $900 is $2,200. And you're driving the car for a while.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you decided to sell the car.
Yes, ma'am.
And you sold it and you bought another 2006 Ford Fusion.
Yes, ma'am. Same car.
Same car. You bought the same car.
Yes, ma'am.
Only this time you paid $1,300 for it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you didn't pay back the title loans, did you?
No, ma'am. I paid back the first one, not the second one.
So you didn't pay back the $1,300?
No, ma'am.
And what you did was you sold the car for how much?
$750.
So you sold it to her for $750.
Yes, ma'am.
And you've got the $1,300. So far you have 0, 5, 10, $2,050. And then you turn around a month or so later and you buy another 2006 Ford Fusion for $1,300.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is what the case is about, Bird. Sells the car to the plaintiff for $750. She doesn't have all $750, so she gives him $600, but it's all the money she had, so he gave her back $20 so she could buy gas and food. So she gave him $580. And she said, I'll bring you the rest with my next paycheck. Right?
Yep.
And she takes the car. He says, I don't have the title, because the title is with these people that he didn't pay back in February. Do you understand? Who gave him $1,300 that he didn't pay back when he sold her the car in
A maid's knife.
So he knew they were coming looking for the car. So he sold it to the plaintiff. She opens up, she looks out her window. Car is
Gone.
slick. Nasty and slick.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, why do you think she would pay you for a car that you bought the same month for $1,300? Because she likes you?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, that's what happened, right? Because you want me to believe that you told her that there was a $1,300 lien on the car, and she bought it anyway. A car that she could have bought for $1,000 cheaper with a title, because you bought it for $1,300 with a title, right?
Correct.
So that's pretty slick. And you want this face to believe that you told her that she was buying a $1,300 car for $2,300?
No, Your Honor.
No, of course not. That's a good idea. So $580 is what you gave him?
Yes, ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy...
This dog came to us with our collar or tag.
Patient in critical condition.
They claim that I'm a bad owner.
You are a bad owner. You neglected your dog. It ended up dead.
Next Judge Judy.
I mean, I really didn't know her the money. She knew what was going on with the title loan.
He definitely got over on me. I did not know about the loan at all.
She knew that it had a lien on the car.
I found out that the car was repossessed because of the outstanding lien that he had on it. I did not know about the lien.